Hello everyone, welcome to the Section 1 Course Introduction and Lab Setup. This is the first video of the Section 1 and we're going to talking about setting up a lab environment and how to configure it. As I mentioned before, there's some requirements for this course. For example, for your configuration of your system, we need at least 4 GB RAM or 8 GB is optimal. And also establish internet connection and at least 50 GB of storage on your system. Also, we need 2 virtual machines. The first one is a Kali Linux that we're going to use Nmap on it. And the second one is for our target, Windows 7 or 10, based on your decision. So in further slides, we're going to talking about the virtual machines and which virtualization are we going to use. But you may wonder why Kali Linux. Kali Linux OS is based on the Unix and Linux open source operation systems that specifically designed for penetration testing by offensive security. If you scroll into the net, you can find many OS that based on Unix and Linux, such as Ubuntu or Parrot, but Kali Linux is one of the good ones for this main purpose. So as I mentioned before, we need a virtualization environment to practice and do our scenarios. For example, I'm doing VMware Workstation in this course, but you can also use the Oracle VirtualBox that is free. But beware that if you're using a virtual machine that's supporting VMware, the file type is ISO, and for Oracle VirtualBox is OVA. So if you want to download Kali Linux for one of these, beware of the file type and image name. As you can see in the picture here, you can see the OVA file name and image name that is specifically designed for Oracle VirtualBox. Let's go to the configuration of each machine. No matter which virtualization environment are you using, both of them, VMware or Oracle, are using the same system to create a new virtual machine. For example, in VMware, when you click on it, create a new virtual machine, there's a window. To start, you can use a typical one that is recommended by yourself. And click on the third one, I will install the operating system later. Choose your operating system here. For example, we're going to install Linux here. You can choose the version, for example, but you can change the name later. Here we're going to choose a name for our virtual machine. We're going to use Code Red and Linux. And then choose a location for that. And then next, here we can choose our maximum disk size for our machine. It's based on you, but I really suggest to keep it on a 25 maybe. I'm going to click next and finish. Once we're finished here, it's going to create automatically. We're going to click on the CD/DVD setup because first we want to use the image file. You can browse your computer and choose the ISO file as is mentioned here. If you're using a VirtualBox or Oracle, it should be OVA. And then I'll click on OK. That's great. And then power on this virtual machine. We're going to wait till it's power on. You can see the smile windows here. It's going to be OK later after we install it. We scroll down to the install or graphical install. And we're going to wait for another step. It's going to lead us to the installation purpose. Now we can choose the language. I'm going to go with English, United States, American English. We wait to load an installation component for the installation media. It's going to take a few seconds. After it's finished, it's going to go into the detect network hardware. After it's done, you're going to go into further process, configuration and network. I'm going to wait a few seconds more. Here we're going to choose a hostname for it. We're going to choose a Kali Linux, or you can choose anything you want. And a domain name, just keep it that way. Here you should choose a root password. Root password is the most important things in your configuration. Try to remember the root password because it is the high level of the access in your Kali Linux system. So you're just going to put password in it twice to make sure of it, confirm it. Just click on continue and next. It's going to detect disks. In this step, I'm gonna explain something important about the partition disks after it's finished. So, if you're a pro user, professional, you can go in with the manual, but if you're using the Kali Linux at the first time, maybe you can go with the use entire disk and do not make partition disks. But I really suggest that you at least go with the use partition entire disks and set up the LVM. But we're just gonna keep it simple and use the entire disk. We'll continue. And if you're a new user, as it's recommended for itself, all the files in one partition. But if you're a pro, go with separate home, VAR, and TMP partitions. So we're just gonna keep it up with the new users and user-friendly. Finish partition and right changing to disks. I'm gonna click yes. And we're waiting for an installation for the system. And it's gonna be taking minutes, so maybe you want to take your time. So after it's finished, you face a new message here. This is for the educational purpose, so you can click no. But if you want to install it again, you want to have the updates software available, you can click yes. You're going to continue and wait for the configure the package manager. We're going to wait for it to install the grub boot loader on a hard disk. It's also going to take a few minutes, so we're going to wait till finished. So after it's finished, in this step we're going to click yes and continue. And in this step we're going to click on the second one, continue. And again we're going to wait for it to the process finished and couple install on our system. And then finally we're going to face the message that the installation has been finished. We're going to click on continue. And now we are facing to the Kali Linux GUI installation. And in the final step, we're going to face the GUI or graphical environment of Kali Linux. So I welcome you to the Kali Linux for the first time if you're using it. You can see the logo on it. So as every operating system, we're going to face to the login page. We're going to click root and then the password that we're choosing for. Then we can create a new user for it if you intend to. So now when you wonder, what should I do with this void on this screen? I want a full screen. Well, that's easy. Just right click on your VM and click install VMware tools. It's gonna install it automatically. Here is it. After a few seconds, you can make a change by clicking on this icon and make it full screen. VMware tools are also could be able to copy and paste the things from your system to your virtual machine. It's a kind of useful tools. You may want to install it. So this is from our machine. Let's get to the installations and configuration for the network. By clicking on the setting, you're going to make sure that your network connection is on NAT connection. I'm going to explain a NAT connection later, but make sure it's NAT connection, not host only or not page, NAT only. We're going to test our networks in the further video on how to work with the commands line in the Linux. Let's go to the setting again and check out the configuration of our system. In this step, you can choose the customized memory for your system. For example, my memory, my RAM of my main system is 20 gigabytes, so I can increase it as much as I can, but the limit is my maximum recommended memory. So if you have lots of job with your operation system, you can increase the RAM, but the 4 gigabyte RAM is the recommended by us, and the process is 2 is good, and the hard disk that we choose at the first step is 25 gigabyte. So everything is set, and our network adapter is NAT. So we also talk about network connection. That we also mentioned that it should be NAT, and we're gonna talk about how to customize your network connection later. Let's review our topics. The first step, we're going through to introduce each requirements, a quick brief around the requirements and why we need them. The second part, we Show you how to install the machine on your system. Step by step, installing each machine is step by step and explaining each setting for deep understanding. And then the last step, configure the lab and network setup, explaining about the configuration of each lab and the network setup to make a lab for our training and scenarios. So, the next video is the second video of the section 1, and it's going to be testing our lab's environments. As I mentioned that, we're going to work with the Linux command and just going to explain it a little bit and to make sure it's going to be worked and everything set on our lab and link it together, our Windows target and our Linux that we're going to use it for penetration testing. Good luck. Hello everyone, welcome to the course Introduction and Lab Setup Section 1. This is the second video of Section 1 of this course. This video is testing our lab environment according to the previous lecture. So we're going to test our network and then we're going to test our connection between the two labs. This is a very important step because we need it for our scenarios. So as we mentioned before, we have two machines or two operation systems, one Windows 10 or Windows 7 based on you, and Kali Linux for penetration testing. So open my terminal and open my web browser to check we have an internet connection or not. It's old-fashioned. We're just going to check that we can open any website or not. We're going to test YouTube. As we can see, we can open YouTube. Also, it's a little bit slow, but it's working. So, but we're not gonna rely on this and try to, use old-fashioned. We're gonna be professional. So let's get back to our Windows and see if everything's okay. So you may wonder how we're gonna do that and how we're gonna make sure that we have internet connection and our labs connect with each other. So there is a very good way for that. And we actually use it for every step that we want to make sure. We're going to use ping. You may wonder what is ping. We're going to explain that too. And then we're going to ping between two labs. But first, let's see what is ping. Ping is a basic internet program that allows a user to test and verify if a particular destination IP address exists and can accept the request in Computer Network Administrator. So actually ping tries to ensure that a host computer the user is trying to reach his operation, any operation system or OS with networking capability, including most embedded network administration softwares can use ping. So now we're going to use ping between two labs to make sure they can reach each other and try to send and receive the packets to be sure about that. So let's see, let's go to our terminal in the Kali Linux. It's up there, you can click on it. Let's increase the font and go back to our Windows. And we're going to use CMD if you want to know how to find it. Just search CMD and there's a black window it's going to open. And we're going to type ipconfig to make sure what is our IP we wanted to reach out before we use ping command. So we type ipconfig and here's the result by typing ipconfig in the CMD. This is our IP address. I'm going to copy that. That's in case we need to paste it. So this is our IP address. We know what is our IP address here. We're going back to our Kali Linux. Now we're going to use ping command here and type our IP address. As you can see, we can see the response of our machine, of our Windows. Look at here, 7 packet transmit and 7 received. 0% packet loss. Completely successfully. There is a strong network connection between two labs. So we're going to do the same thing here for the Kali Linux to make sure. It's not necessary, but for the deep knowledge, we're going to do that. Here's our IP address. I'm going to copy that too because we want to paste it in the CMD. Use the ping command. Here it is. As you can see, same results in the Kali Linux. We're going to see it here too. So we have good connection between two labs. So just one more time to show you. Make sure if it's not working for you, you can ping it. Ping your machine, or Kali Linux, or your Windows server. Your system should be in a net for complications. So now let's have a quick brief on the video summary. The first one is the internet connection. By checking our internet connection, we are going to make sure both of us labs are able to reach out a network. And then we have a quick brief on the ping and what is that and how it's working. And for the last step, we test our connection between the labs and make sure everything's on set and they're in the same network. The next video, we're going to talking about introduction to Linux scripting. And to be exact, it should be a third video of the section 1. And we're going to talking about the commands and everything's in the Linux that you know as a basic student. Good luck. Hello everyone, welcome to another video of section 1, course introduction and lab setup. This is the third video of the section 1, introduction to Linux scripting. As we promised before, we're going to have an overview to the Linux commands for the people who just starting using it. So you may wonder how the Linux command structure works. In Linux command line that we call terminal, so you're going to be aware of that's we call CMD in Windows. Just may want to know that for your general knowledge, but we're going to use them later. So remember these names. In Linux command line that we call a terminal, every command identifies an order or a process that you want to execute. So unlike the Microsoft Windows, CMD or PowerShell, Linux is case sensitive. What is that? We're going to take attention to that after this slide. So it is important to mention that you should be aware of the uppercase and lowercase words. For example, in CMD, you can just type every command in uppercase or lowercase. It isn't important. So you can do it and it's going to be wrong. But in the Linux command line, no, it's not like that. Case sensitive. We're going to see it in our examples. Also, most commands specify options or arguments. In case that you don't know how to use all of them for your purpose, or you want to know how to find a specific switch, you can always use -h after every command to provide you a list of command arguments. -h stands for help, H for L. So if -h doesn't work, just --help. So let's go see an example of the Linux command. The first command we're going to go have an overview in it is the ls command. Provide a listing of available file names in the current directory of the user. So let's see the example. So here we are in our Linux machine. And we're going to type ls. That's going to show all the files in our directory. Here it is. Okay, we can see all the files in the path that we are in. So let's see what's happened when we type ls-help. Oh, let's see all of the switches with explanation of them. So if you ever curious about any command in Linux, just type -h or --help for that command after that, and you can see it's working with a full command description. So let's see what's happened if we type it in the uppercase. ls in a capital word, it's not working. Command not found. But in the CMD, let's go to our CMD. Let's open a CMD here. For example, when we type dir, that's going to work exactly like ls, but in the CMD form. You can see all the files in a directory. What happened if we just type dir in a capital way? It's going to work again. So you now know the difference. So let's get back to our Linux. You see how ls command works. Let's get back to our PowerPoint. In the second example, we have ls-l command that displays a listing of available file names, include all the details about them and the permissions about them. So what is it exactly? Let's see again. Let's get back to our Linux. Here's the Linux again. So let's type. First, let's be a little clean and clear. We're going to type clear here, but we're going to tell you a shortcut later to how clear your screen in a Linux. But for now, just use the clear command to clear your command interface. Well, ls-l, what's happening when we enter this command. Okay, we have all the details about every file here. For example, the lab.txt, time that's created, the user that's created, and also the permission of it. Then we're gonna go through it later in further videos. Well, it's actually not in our courses that's explained about the Linux stuff, but maybe I'm gonna go over with you about the permission in Linux to, you have a better view of what you're doing here. But ls-l gonna show you all the details about the files. The next command in the PowerPoint, if we get back to it, is ls-a. What is that? It's a command that displays hidden files in your directory. So if you want to see all the files that include the hidden files, sometimes they got hidden by purpose or just hidden because of the system files. So let's get to the Linux and see why. Okay, I'm just gonna type ls-a and see what's happened. Okay, we have more files, more hidden files. So just a quick tip, every file that is started with a dot is a hidden file. So look at here, if we type ls, we see all the files, but without any dot. But the files here that have a dot is a hidden file. So if you ever see a file that's started with a dot, it's a hidden file. You can find it with the ls. If you want to see it, you should do it with the ls-a. So let's get back to our PowerPoint again. Well, here we are with another comment, lots of comments that we gonna need it. There's a lot of comments in Linux, a variety of the comments. You need at least many hours, at least 24 hours to learn all the things, all the comments in Linux. But I'm just gonna teach you some important comments in case that you don't know it and you need it in this course, the survival skills for Linux. We're going through the ls, ls-l, and ls-l, that's listing the permissions of the files, the hidden directories. The next one is a cd. It's also, we have it in the cmd2. What does cd do? Let's go to the Linux. The cd command is gonna change your directory via terminal. So, for example, in a graphical way, you just go into another file by clicking on it. But in the terminal, it's not like that. What should I do if I want to move to another directory? Okay, let's find the directory here. We have downloads here. Okay, I want to go to the downloads folder. What should I do using cd? And type download. That's great. Now, if you see here, we are in a downloads directory. So how do I know which directory am I in? We're going to pay attention to it in the further comments. Let's get back to directories and all the comments that you have. Okay, we have a pwd here that showed the current directory. Let's get to it first. When we type pwd in a Linux command line, we can see the directory that we are in. So how about if you want to go back into the directory that was already in the root directory? That is the main directory of every Linux. We can type cd double dots, and double dots stand for the parent directory. So no matter in are you and what directory are you in, if you type cd double dots, you're gonna get back to the previous or a parent directory that you are in. Okay, so let's get to the other comments. We have rm-rf here. What is that? It's removing the directories. So you may wonder, okay, we now learned how to move between the directories. What if I want to delete one? Windows, just right click on it and delete, but it's not, command line in a window. In the Linux, it's not like that. So let's get to the terminal. Okay, what file do we have here? Let's check it out. So I want to delete, I don't know, a directory called the music here. I just type rm-rf music. That's it. ls, there is no music. There is no music file here anymore. The music file just deleted with this comment. Okay, now we learn all the things about moving to other directories, showing them. What if I want to copy the files? It's easy with the command cp. Let's see. For example, we have a file.txt here, and I'm going to copy it. cp file.txt to the file or another name, I don't know, path.txt. Here it is. It's have been copied to another name in the same directory. Also, you can put in other directories. For example, when you type cp and you want to copy another file to another directory, we can just do this file.txt and then copy in the download and put it in the download directories and call it file2.txt. And ls from the downloads directory. See, we have this file here, and we create it with a cp and copy it from the file.txt. Alright then, let's get to another one. The nano command, read or create a text-based file. Let's say nano file is gonna work for you as editor, for example, in Notepad in Windows. So for example, we type in nano. Also, we have another cool editor in the Linux, VI, but that's a little more professional. That I don't want to get into the hard stuff yet. I'm just gonna keep it easy. So the nano is more easy than a VI. So nano and, for example, CodeRed.txt, and it's gonna open a new window that we can type in it. Anything, either by Control X and click on the Y and enter, it's gonna save. So we have a new text file here, CodeRed, and we type something in it. Next command is ifconfig, that you saw it in the previous videos, and it's gonna give us the IP addresses of the machine. The next one is a ping, that you also saw this one in the previous commands too, that ping the host. The last one is the whois, that we're gonna pay attention to the further videos, and we're gonna work with it to get information about our targets. So as I mentioned and I promised, I want to give you some shortcuts in the Linux. As always, there's many shortcuts in the digital world that make our life easier and more productive. Linux OS has made the same concept. There's many shortcuts that you can help you, and during the process we are going to show some of them. One of the most important things, don't wasting your time with typing clear command, just Control L and the screen gonna clear immediately. The next one is Control U. As clear command line immediately does not kill all the screen. It's gonna be there, command's gonna be there, but it's gonna move you to the next page of it. So Control L gonna remove all the comments from the screen, but Control U going to the next page, but the comments are still there. Up arrow and up down is gonna scroll down between the comments histories. So if you want the comments that you type it in the, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, you can just do it with the scroll up and scroll down. And the Control A is moved to the beginning of the command line and for the editing. So let's go to the video summary. First, we're going to quick brief on our Linux command structure. Then in the second step, some important commands, ls, pwd, cd, and remove the files, copy them. And then, after all, some important shortcuts to have a better experience in Linux. The next video is gonna be a section 2, and we're gonna start Nmap essentials. Finally, after section 1, we're done with the Linux and the basic things. We're gonna move into the Nmap and I'm gonna explain all the essential and fundamental things about Nmap. Good luck.
Did you know that you can be part of the lucrative cybersecurity industry? Even top companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, IBM, Facebook, and Dell all hire cybersecurity professionals. The cybersecurity industry has a 0% unemployment rate. The average salary for an entry-level cybersecurity job is about $100,000 per year in the United States. Furthermore, you don't need to know coding and learn from your home, and you get a scholarship to kickstart your career. Apply now. EC Council is pledging a $3.5 million CCT scholarship for cybersecurity career starters. Scan the QR code on the screen to apply for the scholarship. Fill out the form.
Hello everyone, welcome to section 2 of this course, Nmap Essentials. This is the first video of the section 2, Networking Theory, and we're going to do a quick brief on a networking theory and make sure you understand everything in this course. First of all, let's see what is network. Basically, computer network consists of at least two computers through a communication channel to order share resources together, and are they connected? We call it network. The first example is networks such as peer-to-peer. This model is recommended for networks with less than 1 computer, in which a special station for storage and sharing of the resources does not exist. The important thing in this case is that you may have 3 computers as well in planning a domain. All 3 cases mentioned in this section depends on the policies of the organization and the company relevant. This structure is also called workgroup. The second one is server-based networks. In this model, a computer as a server maintains all the database and files to the network, and each user can transfer files to the system by connecting to the servers. In fact, processing on the server side taking places. The structure of the banking networks, or the companies, the large companies, is based on server-based networks in the past, and even some now using this type of a structure. Now we have client-server and server-based network. In this model, a station submits a request to the server to do its job, and the server is assigned after performing the task returns the result to the requesting station. In this model, the volume of the information exchange was less compared to the second model that we talked about, and has a higher application. Another name for this structure is domain networks that we can see in all the companies and banks right now. Use directory services such as Active Directory is common in these type of structures to manage networks. So let's have a summary. First of all, we take a quick brief on network structure and what is network, and then we're going to the explaining of the network types and how they work logically. In the next video, we're going through an explanation of the ports, such as this video, to make sure you know everything in this course. Good luck! Hello everyone, welcome to another video from section 2 Nmap Essentials. This is the second video of the section 2, and we're going to talk about introduction to the ports. So what is port exactly? There are actually several types of ports, but in general, a port is a physical dock point for connecting the external devices to the computer. So ports act as interfaces between the computer and these external devices. For example, hard drives and printers can be connected to the computers with the use of the ports. So for example, if you want to print something or connect to your hard drive, or maybe when you want to type something in your browser in Google, you're using ports to connect to each devices. So these connections are going through the ports. And now we have OSI reference model. I'm going to explain it exactly what is that. ISO is an international standard organization that sets the standards for the wide range of products. From these standards are related to the network equipment, and the OSI model was also provided by this organization. Reference models are used to be better identify the network function, and the OSI model is one of the reference models. OSI that sets for Open System Interconnection model features. As we said, it was presented by ISO, and this reference model have 7 layers that we're going to pay attention to the next slide. Each layer is associated with a higher and lower level, and each layer has a specific task. Also, for your general knowledge, before OSI reference model, there was a TCP reference model that's not usable anymore. So we're just going to talk about the OSI reference model. Let's see the OSI reference model and how is it working. But before that, now we're talking about the ports, it's important to talk about the protocols for your better understanding about the ISO and the OSI model. a set of the rules used by computers so that computers can communicate with each other to establish. The protocol is standard arguments on which communication are based. In the image below that we're going to show you now, you can see the transfer of the information from one computer to another. Now you can see the OSI model. There's a 2-side and 2 computer and 7 layer on each side. As you can see, there's a 7 layer from each side. I'm going to start with the layer 7 and coming down for the layer 1 and talking about how the communication works here. From the start point, we have a sending computer. Let's start with the layer 7 application layer using the user interface. And then we have a layer 6 presentation layer. After that, let's go to the layer 5 session layer, transport layer that we call TCP and TCP/IP. We have a network layer, the IP in TCP/IP. Layer 2, data link layer, NIC physical address. And then layer 1, physical layer, network card and cabling. Then we have physical network here. And when it's come to the receiving computer, we start from layer 1, the step that the computer using the physical layer to get the information from the sending computer and then transfer it to the higher layers to finally get to the application layer user interface. Let's go for a summary. First of all, we're talking about the ports and quick brief on the port structures. Then we go to the OSI model and how it works actually, and explain it about how the layers works and how they communication with each other. In the next video, we're going to talk about Nmap ping scan, and we're going to actually start working with Nmap and using our first scenario in the real world. Good luck. Hello everyone, welcome to another video from Section 2 Nmap Essentials. This is the third video of the Section 2 Nmap ping scan. In this video, as we mentioned in the last video, we're going to do our first scenario. Let's have an introduction to the command that we're going to work with. The most basic command of Nmap is to identify the active host on a network so we can see all the online IP addresses without sending packets to these hosts. So, may you ask yourself, why would I do that? Well, there's two reasons for your question. The first one is, in some cases, maybe the firewall of the target or the system that we want to scan it, we find out that you're pinging the system, giving the false result or don't give any result at all. So when you run it without a ping scan, you can see no result at all. So may you think that a host is not up, or you can see the false information about the system. This is the first reason that we're going to use ping scan in our scans. Also, there's a second reason for this one. If you use the ping scan in the Nmap, you do not leave any trace at all and any log on your target system. So this command is useful when you do not want to leave a trace of yourself while doing the scans. For example, if you remember in the last videos, we want to make sure that is a host is up or not, we're using the ping scan, ping and a target, the IP address. So we get a result that's host, we have a connection with a host or not. But here, when we use the ping scan in Nmap, we do not leave any ping packets to the target. Let's see the comments. Here's the comments. They're most similar to each other. We're gonna work 2 or 3 of them to see how it's working. The first one is nmap-ping target. Let's see this one on our Cal Linux. Here's the Cal Linux, and here's the Windows 10. I'm using Windows 10, so as I mentioned, you can use any version of the Windows you want. By typing ipconfig in the Windows CMD, you can see the IP address of the target, and also in the Cal Linux, by typing ifconfig, you can see the IP address of your machine. This is the IP address, so we can find out that they are in the same network. But to make sure about that, we're going to ping the target. Here's the IP of the target, so we can see it's currently working without any problem. We're sending packets and it's getting back to our system, so it works completely. But we don't want to do that anymore. What we're going to do, the first command is nmap-ping and the target. We're going to wait a while and see the results. So here's the result of the Nmap showing us that there is lots of ports that are closed, of course, and there's some ports that are open in targets. So it can be useful for us in the time that we want to attack the system, that we're collecting information about the target. So for example, there is a port on a TCP that states is open, and the service of this port. Here we have the MAC address of the system, and it shows us it's using on a VMware. So it's a good information at all. We want to find out about the target. Let's clear the screen again and use the next command we have. The next one is -sn and the target IP. So in this one, we're going to see the result that if the host is up or not. So if you remember that when I ping the system, ping the target, it shows that there's a connection between each other, so it's working. But what if we don't want to send any packets or leave any trace? See the result? Nmap is done and one IP address and one host up. So there's a connection between these two machines and we know that host is up. So without leaving any trace, we found the information about the target, and also we found a MAC address about the target. It's using on a VMware. So let's get back to our slides. So let's have a summary from our video. At the first step, we have introduction to our Nmap scenario. The second one, we talk about what is command and how it's working and why we need it. And then we go into our Kali Linux and execute the commands and show you the example of the commands. In the next video, we're going to be talking about information gathering and what is information gathering exactly. Good luck. Hello everyone. Welcome to another video from section 2, Nmap Essentials. In this video, we're going to be talking about what is information gathering exactly. Information gathering is a function for finding different kind of information against a target. In some cases, attackers come to the target company to get some information like how many employees work on that company or what services they're using on the systems, also host names and server names or their IPs and MAC address. For those in the cybersecurity industry, this is the first step, or better to say, one of the most important steps in ethical hacking or penetration testing, because any information that we are taking in this step, we're going to use it in the further steps. We're going to take strategies, how we're going to use it, why we're going to use it, and what way we're going to use it. So it's one of the most important things that we're going to pay attention to, because any information that we gather in this step is going to help us to process and execute our scenarios. Any basic cybersecurity information gathering process often includes two types of data collection. The first one is collecting network data, such as public, private, and associated domains names, network host and public and private IP blocks, routing tables, TCP and running services, SSL certificates, open ports that we saw an example in the last video, and MAC address. The second one is collecting system-related information. This one is include the user enumeration, system groups, OS host names, or OS or operating system types. And actually gonna see example in a further video to how we're gonna find out the OS system of a user in a company. And also there's many more information that we can gather from many ways. But now we're just gonna talking about the fields that are related to our courses. How we are going to use it. There are several ways that we're using to gather information from a target, such as social engineering, that include the in-person chats, phone conversation, and email spoofing attacks and scams. There's search engines, that web crawlers, and we call it maybe Google Docs. And also there's social networks such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and other networks that you're gonna build the information profile based on their activities. There's the domain names. These are registered by organizations, governments, public and private agencies, and people. Therefore, they're a great starting point when you want to investigate some targets, personal information, projects, services, and technologies they're using. Also, there is internet services. DNS servers are a great source of information as they often include a very single surface point post to the internet, which means a direct link to the related services such as HTTP, email, and etc. So now we know that creating a full list of the information gathering tools could be really helpful for us for our process. So as I said, there's many ways to help you in this process, but our beloved network scanner and our subject in this course is Nmap, that could be always the first position when it's come to the data gathering tool. It can be used not only to scan ports and services and fingerprinting, but also as a DNS enumeration and a network mapping tool is a great way to do the information gathering in your first and in one of the most important steps in penetration testing or ethical hacking. So let's have a video summary. First of all, we have a quick brief on information gathering. What is information gathering exactly? The second, we have some examples, providing some example for you. And the last, we talking about why and how we are going to use information gathering and talking over the concept. In the next video, we're going to talk about TCP and UDP. See you in the next video. Good luck. Hello everyone. Welcome to another video from Section 2, Nmap Essentials. In this video, we're going to have an introduction to TCP and UDP. Transfer Protocol, or TCP, is a connection-oriented protocol, which means that once a connection is stable, it's going to set up a connection and start transferring the data. And UDP, or User Datagram Protocol, is simpler and connectionless, which means it starts sending and doesn't care if it's right or not. I tried to make it simple for you. Let's go a little deeper about it to make sure you understand everything. TCP is a connection-oriented protocol, as I mentioned, whereas UDP is a connectionless protocol. But the key difference between these two, between TCP and UDP, is the speed. So TCP is a little bit slower than UDP, but overall, UDP is much faster and simpler. But a notable fact is TCP provides an ordered delivery of data from user to server, whereas UDP is not dedicated to end-to-end communication. And actually, I'm going to pay attention to these facts in the next slide and talking about the security of each protocol. Let's talk about the connection status of each protocol. TCP requires an established connection to transmit the data. Connection should be closed once transmission is complete, but in UDP, connectionless protocol with no requirement for opening. Also, TCP can guarantee delivery of the data to the decision router, but UDP cannot guarantee delivery of the data to the destination. On the other hand, TCP have error checking and acknowledgement of the data, but in UDP, basic error checking. Now let's talk about level security as we talking about a security in this course. From my point of view, as I mentioned in the last slide, TCP is more secure than UDP at the first point. Because of the following reasons, as I mentioned in the last slide, TCP makes sure and guarantee that data is going to transfer between 2 points and also have error checking. So TCP is considerably more secure than UDP and randomize initial sequence numbers to start off a transmission. So we can decide that TCP is more secure than UDP, but UDP is much faster than TCP. It's up to you. When do you want to use UDP or TCP in your connection? When we try to analyze the packets from TCP and UDP, analyzing the packets that use TCP protocol is much harder than UDP. Let's have a summary. First, we're talking about UDP and TCP and quick brief on them. And the next step was some example from TCP and UDP. And also talking about which one is more secure than the other. In the next video, I'm going to talk about Nmap, TCP, and SINA-SCAN. I'm going to show you how to do that in a real world. Good luck. Hello again. Welcome to another video from Section 2 Nmap Essentials. In this video, we're going to talking about another command from Nmap, TCP, and SINA-SCAN. In the SINA-SCAN, we can perform operation quickly, scanning thousands of the ports, and second is the reason for becoming one of the most popular type of scans. Let's see the commands and then execute them on the terminal. Our first command is nmap-p that P is stand for ports, and then we have 3 specific ports that we want to use to scan our target, and then your target.com or your IP address target. Let's see the command on the terminal. Here are Kali Linux, and here is a command. nmap-p, and these ports that we want to scan it, you can use any ports that you want to make it as a target. And then the IP address of our Windows machine. We wait for the result, and here's the result, the 3 ports that we want to scan. As you can see, 1 of them are opened and 2 of them are closed. SSH is closed, and the status SRV is closed, and NetBIOS is open. And here's the MAC address. So we have the information that these 2 ports on a target is closed, but this one is open. So this is good, useful information for your attack. Also, you can use another target that Nmap provides us. It's called scan me.nmap.org. And we're going to wait for the results. We can see SSH is open, but 2 other is filtered. So we can't find out that it's closed or open because it's filtered by the firewall of the website. Let's go to the next comment. Okay, here are second comment, nmap-d, --packet-trace, and -p as the last one, and the ports that we want to scan, and target.com. What is --packet-trace? Well, this one is actually trying to find all the specific ways and all the details that when we send the packets and go to the target and gets back to us, it sees all the results, and we can see what's happened to the packets we send to the targets. And it's analyze it, and we can get more information about our targets. Let's see, it's on the Kali Linux. Alright, here we are in a Kali Linux, and here's the comment. And this is the IP address of the target. Click enter, and wait for the results. So as you can see, it's lots of result here. Get back to the beginning. Well, here is the timing reports, and here is initial ping scan. We can see send ICMP packets from our machine, and this is the IP of our machine, and this is the target IP. An echo request, and then it's get back to us when we're sending a TCP. We're scrolling down, we can see more information about nmap trace handler callback, and here we can see connect success for EID8. Scrolling down again. Alright, after we understand what's happening here and analyze all the details, we can see the result here. That when we use this command, it says all the 3 ports are filtered because the firewall just noticed that there is a nmap and ping scanning here, so it's filtered our results. Let's get back to our PowerPoint. Here we are at our video summary. At the beginning, we have a quick brief on a TCP and SYN scan, and then we provide you the commands that show you how you can analyze the command and a scan that target a specific portion of targets. And also, we run the commands and trying to trace the packets while we're doing the scanning. The next video is Nmap OS detection. That is one of the most important things in Nmap commands. Good luck. Hello again, everybody. Here we are again with another video from Section 2 Nmap Essentials. In this video, we're going to be talking about Nmap OS detection. In the last video, we're talking about this, and we told you that is one of the most important things, and one of the most important commands in Nmap. It's going to be very helpful for you, so we're going to pay attention to it. So as I said, one of the Nmap best known command is a remote OS detection using TCP/IP stack fingerprinting. Nmap sends some of the TCP/UDP packets to the remote host and check every bit in the responses. So let's see the comments. The first comment is -O, that's run the OS detection. And the second one is -OS scan -guess. So let's have a check on the comments. Okay, here we are in a Kali Linux. Let's run our command. O and a target. I'm gonna wait a few minutes. This probably doesn't work for me because I'm using outdated and using in the sandbox version of the Windows. So yeah, as you can see, there's no exact matches for the house because I banned it from my Windows, but it probably worked for you if you try it in your home with your own devices. You're gonna see the operating system of the targets. In the previous videos, I showed you one of the examples to see all the devices in the network and what OS are using. So it's gonna go like that, but you're using it at a single point of the target. Let's go to the other command. The second command was nmap -OS scan -guess. And the targets. As you can see here, we can see some ports that tell us that are open. Could be very helpful for us. NetBIOS SSN, Microsoft DS, and WBT servers. Let's get back to our PowerPoint. Here we have another command that says mix to command from one of our lessons from last videos and current video. So it's kind of good practice for you that's running it in your home and see what result did you get, because now we want to get in advance trying to mix all the commands together. Let's get back to your Kali Linux. So let's run the command. Well, here's the command. -S capital V -capital O -V and the target. Okay, we see 45 script are for scanning, discovering open ports, complete scene scans. We're going to wait for the other results. Alright, we can see other result here. The exact same output from the last comment and more information about the target. Let's have a review on a video. At the first step, we have a quick brief on OS scan, operating system scans, and the next step was we provide you commands for this job, for this scenario, and for the last step, we execute the commands in the terminal and show you how it works. In the next video, we're going to be talking about nmap enumeration. Good luck! Hello everyone, welcome back with another video from section 2 Nmap Essentials. In this video we're going to be talking about nmap enumeration. Nmap is one of the most popular tools to get enumeration of a victim host. There is lots of tools for scanning firewalls, operation systems, versions, IP ranges, etc. According to the previous sessions, we are using this tool for information gathering. So let's see the commands. The first command, as you can see, is nmap-I capital L and the IP list. The second one is nmap-I capital L IP list dash capital V. And the last command, we try to use lots of switches in the nmap to perform professional commands. You may wonder, what is IP list? Well, as I told you, it's good for information gathering. So we try to assume that you have lots of target, you have lots of hosts, and trying to target them in the network, or maybe just one host. So we just want to make sure you know you can use IP list as well as a txt file in your Kali Linux too. Just giving the directory to the host is enough. We're gonna try that, no worries. So let's first get into the first command, nmap-I L. So here we are again at our Kali Linux. First of all, we need the IP list. So with a nano command that I'll teach you before in the first videos, I guess, in the section 1, you can make a txt file. So I made one before. You type the file name you want to create. When you click on it and enter on it, you can type the IP address you want. I just wrote down these two. And then to exit and save the file, Control X, and then it's asks you want to save it or not. You click on the yes or Y, and then enter and getting back to the terminal, and then perform your command -I L and the IP list. We are here having the result of the nmap, scanning the results of the multiple targets, enumeration, and information gathering on the targets. So let's get to the next command. The next command is similar like the last one, but it has a -S at the end of the command. I'm gonna hit the enter and wait for the results. Well, here we are with the results. As you can see, more information on the target with a -S. And here you can see the service info of the host. My target is the desktop, it's the name of the computer, and the operation system is the Windows. Well, we have lots of information about it, don't we? The last command is one of the most important commands because it's doing lots of functions and give you lots of information, and it's very helpful. So let's run it on our Kali Linux. Well, here's the command nmap-S V-S-C -T for and -N-PN -O A fast scan and the target. So we're gonna hit the enter. We're gonna wait because it's lots of functions, but it's gonna have lots of information on it and the good results. Alright, here we are with the results. As you can see, there's lots of information here. First of all, as usual, the ports and the states of the opens and the servers and the versions. Then we have the target name, NetBIOS name, DNS domain name. This could be really helpful in the servers when you run it because you know the DNS domain names and DNS computer name. You can have lots of information on the target service. In the product version, you can see and define any vulnerability according to the version of the product. We're scrolling down. We have others ports that are open here. Also, we can see the SMBOS discovery was the Windows 10 Pro and the version of the Windows 10 Pro. So we also have the version of the Windows 10 and the OS type. Also, we can see it's in our work group. If it was in a domain, you can see the domain information. And also, we have SMB security mode. That is very important. Account use guest. Authentication level is the user. And challenge responsible is supported. So we have SMB2 security mode and the version of it. And SMB time. So there's lots of information and they're very helpful for penetration testing, and getting the results from the target is one of the most important things in this command. So we have lots of information on target. We can run it on a server, on any target you want on websites, and you can see the results that how it could be helpful. Let's get back to our PowerPoints. Alright, let's have a review on a video. First of all, we have a quick brief on nmap enumeration. What is that? We provide the commands and then we execute the commands in the terminal. In the next video, we are actually going to talking about anonymous FTP login. It is important, so see you in the next video. Good luck. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another video from Section 2, Nmap Essentials. In this video, we're going to be talking about Anonymous FTP login. Anonymous users log in to the FTP server by using the other FTP or Anonymous as a username. Let's see the commands. Nmap-s capital V and -s capital C and the target. Here's the command that we need for this section. After typing the command, we hit enter and waiting for the results. In this command, when the results showed up, we can see and discover that the Nmap anonymously used FTP login to get the results. Alright, here's the results. Let's take a look at it. As always, all the useful information that we can use to perform our penetration testing on a target is here. Video summary. The first step, we have a quick brief on Anonymous FTP login. Second of all, we're providing your commands, and then we execute the commands on terminal. The next video will be our first video from Section 3 Nmap Scripting Engine Part 1 Basic Scripts. See you and good luck. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another video with this course. We are in Section 3 Nmap Scripting Engine Part 1 Basic Scripts. This is the first video of this section introducing the Nmap Scripting Engine to you. Well, first let's see what is NSE and what is it doing and what services it provides to us as an Nmap services. According to the Nmap Scripting Engine or NSE is one of the most Nmap powerful and flexible features. It allows users to write and share the simple scripts to automate a wide variety of networking tasks or security tasks such as discovery, such as vulnerability analyzing, and exploiting them. These scripts are executed in parallel with the speed and efficiency you can expect from an Nmap. Users can rely on the growing and diverse set of the scripts distributing with Nmap or write their own to meet their custom needs. To reflect these differences users and simplify the chooses which script to run, each script contains a field associating it with one of the more categories that I'm gonna explain in the next comment for your better understanding. Well, as you can see in the first command, nmap-script. As I said, there's a different categories that you can use for your scan, such as authentication or AUTH, or broadcast, default, discovery, DOS, exploit, fuzzer, malware, and safe. Then I'm going to explain some of them to make sure you understand all of them. For example, authentication. Try to authenticate credentials or bypassing them on a target system. Or broadcast is a script that's typically do discovery of hosts not listed on the command line by broadcasting on a local network. Or brute, that, as you know, it stands for brute force. Attack to guess authentication credential of a remote server. Nmap contains script for brute forcing dozens of the protocols, including HTTP brutes, Oracle brute, and SNP brutes, and etc. Also, there is an important category that may want to start using that for your first try as a beginner is default. These scripts are the default set and run when using the -s capital C, as you can see in the second command, or -A option rather than listing a script with double dash script. This category can also be specific like your any other using -a script by default. So many factors are considered in deciding whether a script should be run by default. So let's go to the terminal and start working on it. Okay, first of all, let's find all the NSE and all the script that we have on our Kali Linux by default in an Nmap database. So we can take a look at it, browse it if you want, and try to find out
one of them is the best for you to perform your task. You can find all the NSE scripts by typing locate, that is a Linux command, and star, that stands for every file in your system, .nse. .nse is all the Nmap script engines format that you can find it. So if there is a file such as default.nse is a Nmap scripting engine script. So by typing on it and hit the enter, you can find all of the scripts in your system that are available in Nmap directory. Or you can just simply go to the Nmap directory and find all the scripts in it. So we change the directory to the user, share, Nmap, and scripts. I'm doing an ls, so you can see all the script that we have here. So as you can see, there's a variety of the scripts that you can use, lots of tasks, and perform many information gathering, attacks, or exploiting or finding vulnerability. So let me clear the screen and let's get back to our scripts. So let's test our first command with the category default. Here's our command and here's the target. We're gonna hit the enter. I'm waiting for the results. So as you can see, here's the results by the Nmap. Also, we have a good result and good output from Nmap. Let's get to our second command that was nmap-s and time. And we are going to wait for the result. Again, you can see the result here, as I mentioned in the slides. Well, for another example, you can use any script you want from the list that you have in your script directory. For example, this one is the HTTP header, trying to find all the servers and the accepted ranges and the connection types, and trying to find the open ports on the website and your targets. Let's get back to our PowerPoint. Well, at the beginning, we have a quick brief on NSE. Then we told you how to find Nmap scripts and how to use it. And then we tested in our lab. In the next video, you can find Nmap standard scripts. Good luck! Hello everyone, welcome to another video from Section 3 Nmap Scripting Engine Part 1 Basic Scripts. This is the second video from Section 3 Nmap Standard Scripts. If you remember, in the last video we were talking about Nmap Standard Scripts, NSE, and all the things that you need to know about this engine. But in this video we're going to show you more examples of it and how to perform tasks. So let's go to our lab. Well, here we are again in our Kali Linux, in our dear Kali Linux. The first command that we want to work with each other is nmap-script, and in this scenario we want to use HTTP brute and use the port 18 for our sample website. We hit enter and waiting for the results. Alright, here are our results. As you can see here, the result is in port 18 TCP and the state is open, the service is HTTP, and HTTP port is a path. Does not require any authentication. So what is this exactly doing? It's trying to brute first by HTTP on a port 18 from a login page or any authentication. But now we are using a simple website and we do not want to use any authentication to brute it. So if you have a local website, you can test it on it, or you have any website, you can test it on it by yourself in your lab. Let's see the next comment. The second command that we choose is -script oracle -brute and the specific port that we choose for our target. Like same as the last one, this is exactly using brute forcing on the Oracle servers. You can see doesn't need any authentication, but our DNS records and the IP address and the main server we have the record on it. and the port is filtered, of course, so using for brute forcing on the specific port on the target. Let's see the next comment through the page. Well, here our next comment -s capital U and -s script. It's an MP brute forcing and our sample website or targets. So as you can see, it's trying to brute forcing the SNMP server or services on the target. Let's get back to our PowerPoint. Video summary. As you know, we're talking about Nmap standard scripts and have a quick brief and reminder for you. Then we have used these 3 default Nmap scripts to test our lab and see and performing tasks in the real world, and then we execute them on our targets. In the next video, we're going to talk about a vulnerability in the Nmap. Good luck. Hello everyone, welcome to another video from section 3 Nmap Scripting Engine Part 1 Basic Scripts. In this video, we are going to talk about vulnerability and analysis. So as you may understand, in this video we're going to talk about finding vulnerabilities and analysis in the Nmap and how to find it and how to perform tasks and what is the steps in the Nmap to find a vulnerability. Let's go to our lab to perform a task. CVE stands for Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures. In plain English, that simply means it's a way to organize and categorize software vulnerabilities. This information can be highly useful for security researchers and penetration testers in their daily tasks. 2 of the most popular vulnerabilities or CVE detection scripts found on Nmap NSE are Nmap Wallen ERS and WallenScan, which will enable you to detect relevant CVE information from remote or local hosts. Along with those 2 that I mentioned, the entire Wallen category that I mentioned in the previous videos is absolutely treasure trove. A truly useful resource when using Nmap as a vulnerability scan engine. We are going to use the first one, Nmap WallenScan. It queries its own local CVE database hosted on a client performing a task, and these local databases include the following CVEs such as Security Focus, OpenWAS, and security trackers and exploited database. And in order to use this NSE script, we need to clone it from the GitHub, the almost same way we did before. So let's go through the installation. After entering the command, we hit enter and wait for the download. After we download from the GitHub, we configure it with this command. As you can see, file exists for me, but if you hit enter, it will be okay. And then we are going to perform the scan with using this command. And then we're waiting for the result. After a while, you can see the result. And actually, it's a huge result from a target. It's just all the vulnerabilities available. And it's give you a good result to perform your task and perform your ethical hacking or penetration testing on a target without any problem. Let's get to our next comment. Perform our next command. We change our directory. Then we are downloading Wallen script. After that, we're going to test it with our server and target. And we are going to wait for the result. After a while, you can see the result here. Reporting for the target and the services on the target that are available. You can use them to perform your attack. Let's have a quick review on a video. First, we're talking about the vulnerabilities and CVEs, then tell you the different vulnerabilities that are available on Nmap, and then perform comments. In the next video, we're going to talk about Nmap vulnerability scripts again and show you more example of it. Good luck. Hello everyone again, welcome to another video from Section 3 Nmap Scripting Engine Part 1 and Basic Scripts. This video is also about Nmap vulnerability scripts, and this is kind of complete the last section. We're going to do more practice. We're talking about what is Nmap script vulnerability, and how we do active all the script in the vulnerability categories. We're going to show you some more example in the following slide. Let's test on a lab. For example, I'm going to run a finding vulnerability PHP version. The first checks for the version of PHP running, which only responds with a response up to 5.5.0, and the second looks see if the PHP-CGI installation is vulnerability to the CVE 2012 and 1823. First, let's run the command nmap version and use the test target. Not come. We're going to wait for the result. Let's try it again. As you can see here, the result and DNS record for the following target and the service is open. So the results, as you can see, the output and DNS record. Let's perform the next command to see if the PHP CGI is vulnerable to this RCV or not. I'm going to type again nmap-s capital V, and again --s script http://cve. Alright, and our target. If this one is not working, we have another command that we can use, that one. That's target the port 18. We're gonna click on this one and wait for the result. Alright, we have the result here. You can see the output here. I'm gonna kill the screen again. Let's have a summary. As we know, Nmap is a powerful script allowing you to do not only perform a port scanning task, but also discover CVE in a matter of seconds. Thanks to the Nmap, this becomes an easy task, even if you do not have an advanced technical skill in penetration testing. Also, the -s capital V parameter will allow Nmap actually to see the version of the information of the target in a remote host. And then we talk about the scripts for specific vulnerabilities, and then we execute the commands in the terminal. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about Nmap brute force attack. Good luck. Hello everyone again. Welcome to the last video for Section 3, Nmap Scripting Engine Part 1 Basic Scripts. In this video, we're going to be talking about Nmap brute force attack. We talked about it in a previous video. In this video, we're going to show you some more examples to complete this section. In the following slides, I'm going to show you how to use brute force attack for Nmap scan with more examples. Let's go to our lab. In our first command, we're going to use this command, nmap--- script and SSH boot on a port 22 and our target IP address. And we are going to wait for the result. As you can see, the SSH closed on the server target, so we cannot brute force the attack. So when you're performing the information gathering with the Nmap, if you find out that the port 22 that stands for the SSH is open on the target services, so you can brute force the target with the -s script SSH boot on the port 22 that stands for the SSH services. Let's go to the next command. The last command, we saw how to perform a brute force attack, but it's not just that all. The complete command, when we find out the SSH service is open on the target, we're going to perform the brute force attack. After the IP address, we're going to type --script -args, that stand for the arguments, and then giving the user DB, that is the user database we want to attack. For example, users, administrator, or admin, that usually stand for the common users in the target. And the password list that we're gonna provide it with a pass DB, that stands for database, and set a column for the password.txt on our local server. After performing this command, the Nmap going to brute force the SSH service on a target with a username and password list we provide in the command. Here's another example of another brute force attack on a FTP server. In the last command, we saw the SSH on a port 22, but this time we're gonna perform the attack on a port 21 that stands for the FTP brute force. So, if you remember in the previous videos and sections, we're trying to find out which services on the target is open. So after you find out, for example, FTP or SSH servers is open on the target, you can perform a brute force attack with your username database and a password list to perform an attack. As I said, in username.txt you can list the usernames such as administrator, admin, or user, or guest. And in the password list, you can find a password list or make a password list yourself to the common password list in the network. You can also find a more password list and a strong password list in the GitHub by searching it in the Google. Also, in the last videos, we're talking about HTTP brute force attack. And in this video, we perform a complete understanding on how we can provide and perform a brute force attack on a target. Here another example of another brute force attack. In this command, we try to brute force attack the MySQL server or service on a target. As you can see, that we set the port that stands for the MySQL services on a target, and here's the IP address. We type --script and arguments, and we run the user.txt and password.txt to start brute forcing by Kali Linux and Nmap. Let's have a video summary. First, we have talking about Nmap brute force in so many services such as HTTP, SSH, MySQL, and FTP. And we test all the possible options and tell you how you can have a successful attack with your target. And then we execute the commands in our Kali Linux. The next video will be the first video of the section 4 of Scripting Engine Part 2, Enumeration. Good luck. Hello everyone, welcome to the Nmap Scripting Engine Part 2 Enumeration Section 4. The first video of the Section 4, we're going to talk about Nmap DNS enumeration. Let's see what is DNS enumeration exactly and what we're talking about here. Enumeration DNS names using the DNSSEC and SEC-working technique. Output is arranged by domain within the domain subzones are shown in an increased indentation. The NSEC response recorded in DNSSEC is used to give negative requests and answers to queries, but it has the side effect of the alloy enumeration of all names, much like the zero transfer. The script doesn't work against the servers that use NSEC tree rather than NSEC. For that, we can see in the next comment in the following slides how it's going to work. In our argument, in our script, the domain or list of the domain to enumerate, if not provided, the script will make a guess based on the name of the target. Let's see the comment. Here's the comment as you can see. Nmap-S, capital SU, -P stand for the port, 53 script, and the following script, DNS NSEC enumeration, and -script, and we set an argument that stands for DNS. So in the following, as you can see, if the servers use NSEC tree rather than NSEC, then it should be DNS-NSEC tree enumeration or enum. Let's see the outputs. Here's the command as you can see, example usage, and the script output of this command. As you can see, our target is example.com, and all the DNS subdomains that are available, the following target. Let's have a summary on a video. First, we're talking about the DNS enumeration, then we provide the command, and then we saw what happened next and what is the result and output of the command. The next video will be Nmap HTTP enumeration. Good luck. Here we are again with another video from section 4. In this video, we're going to talk about Nmap HTTP enumeration as well. First, let's see what is HTTP enumeration. In this scenario, a fingerprint file that's similar to the format of the Nikto web application scanner. This script, however, takes it one step further by building an advanced pattern matching as well as having the ability to identify a specific version of web applications. So far from here, we understand that the scanning phases of a penetration testing are arguably the most important of the entire process. Without a clear understanding of the bigger picture and the avenue potentially available to you, we won't be going to very far at all. As a part of this process, it's very likely that you regularly come up against web servers, and just as likely that these servers will be hosting web applications. What is the point of the web server otherwise, right? So, within this mind, it is critically important to be able to properly enumeration and gather information from these servers as you go about your penetration testing. So in this video, we're going to talk about HTTP enumeration and gather information about our target in a web server. So, the next question is, which Nmap script can be used to show potential risk HTTP methods? We're going to show an example on the next slide and run the command on our terminal. Here's the script, nmap-v script, and HTTP enumeration that we're going to use this script for our targets. Let's test it on lab. Well, here we are at our Cal Linux. As you can see, we run the command nmap-v and our script and our target. As you can see, after a while, the Nmap getting a result for us on the DNS record for the target, and the port and the status and the services we need, and the version of the services that is very useful to find the vulnerability and CV for it. We're going to scroll down. I'm going to see the result for the fingerprinting strings. We're going to have a cache control here and link. We're going to scroll down and the script of the HTTP header, body. As you can see, if you're familiar with HTTP, you can easily read this script. As you can see, this is the part of our targets. I'm going to scroll down again. Web font config with your options. As you can see, we have more options here. That IMAPS and POP3S that's used for mail services are open as well. Let's have a review on our video. First, we're talking about HTTP enumeration, a quick brief in HTTP enumeration. Then we provide a comment and expand about it. And then we run the command on our terminal. In the following video, we're going to talk about Nmap MySQL enumeration. Good luck. Hello and welcome to another video from section 4, Nmap scripting engine part 2 enumeration. In this video, we're going to talk about Nmap MySQL enumeration, section 4, video 4.3. First of all, let's see what is MySQL enumeration. Perform a valid user enumeration against MySQL server using a bug discovered and published by server versions 5.x are suitable to a user enumeration tag due to different messages during login when using old authentication mechanism from version 4.x and earlier. So, the second question is how to enumerate a cipher for MySQL server using Nmap. Let's go to see the comment. Well, here's the command, nmap-script, and the script MySQL-num and the target. Let's test it in our lab. So here we are in our Cal Linux. As you can see, here's the comment nmap -script mysql and -enum and the targets. And here's the results and output of the comment. The port and the state that is open, and the service is MySQL, and the reason is CNAC. You can see the account is admin, empty, and a valid credential. So the result should be like this when you're doing SQL enumeration. We can see the accounts and a test that we're using for the credentials when using a login or trying to transfer a MySQL transaction website as a static perform attack. Let's have a review on a video. The first step, we have a quick brief on MySQL enumeration, then we explain the comment and explain the output of the comment as well. In the next video, we're going to talk about Nmap SMB enumeration. Good luck. Hello again, folks. I hope you doing great and practice all the commands far from here. This is section 4 in Nmap Scripting Engine part 2 enumeration. This is the fourth video from section 4, and we're going to talk about Nmap SMB enumeration. SMB protocol, commonly known as Server Message Block Protocol, has been a hot target among threat actors for many years because it is complexly and open nature. This protocol was prone to be performed after attacks from SMB null session to Eternal Blue. It is the reason we are about to cover the SMB enumeration in this video and going deep with the Nmap SMB script, also known as the Nmap Scripting Engine SC that we talked about in the whole section. However, the SMB has covered a long journey in terms of its security hardening. It has been updated and improved to the newest security standards in the recent Windows operating system release. I guess the last SMB version is the SMB version 3.1 in a Windows 10 and a Windows Server 2006, while the most vulnerable was SMB version 1 in a Windows XP and a Windows Server 2003. Because it's not a secure history, because it doesn't have a secure history, it always be good to protocol for any threat actor for ethical hackers. So with tools like Nmap SMB script, it makes it even easier to attack the perform SMB enumeration. And also, it is not as surprising that we still have a legacy end of life, what we call EOF, operating system running in the various public and private sector organizations. A quick query in Shodan, that is a website for information gathering and analyzing targets, confirmed that there is a lots of and a variety of the publicly accessible in the SMB ports, and it can be easily visited. Not everyone will be doing their housekeeping, securing their stuffs. Let's say that there's a lots and there left many of them to a hot target to attack. So there's a variety of the targets that you can test your scripts on them. So let's see why SMB enumeration is important. It is used to communicate over TCP/IP in network that we talked about what is TCP/IP before in the previous section. As a client-server protocol used for file sharing, printing, serial ports, and other resources on a network. SMB can allow other applications and users to access files or execute command in a remote server. So, a client application can read, write, and execute files and have the full permission, that means, on the server depending upon the configuration on SMB share. Also, port for SMB is a 445, while 13529 ports are used for the RPC console, which are essential for remote management for the Windows systems, for sure. But it is essential to keep the target we are trying to achieve for enumeration in services. So this is a particular case we will getting system information, null sessions, open shares, and CW is like Eternal Blue for these services. But we are not going to cover all the SMB vulnerability in this session, in this course actually, because it's just about Nmap, not SMB. But it's a very good title if you want to work on it and research on it by yourself. So these open shares might include some sensitive information like usernames, password, hashes, keys, TGC, or etc., which can be used further in the process and for many purposes in the process. So to conclude, as a per many knowledge we enumerate in SMB for many reasons, for example, null sessions, open shares, CVEs, and system informations. As you know, Nmap, we are going to use Nmap for our SMB enumeration, but there's always other tools, for example, SMB map or MBTS scans and enum for Linux. You can also use them for if you're interested in SMB enumeration. So how many Nmap has SMB scripts for enumeration? Actually, I guess there are 2 to 5 Nmap SMB script as part of SNE as a default. We will go into some of them, see one of them, and try one of the commands and show you how it works. But there's lots of the commands. For example, we have SMB-OS discovery that's trying to find out the computer names, domain names, virus names. If you remember in the previous section, we talked about OS discoveries in a network. It kind of looks like that. There's other commands, for example, enum shares that's publicly exposed the SMB shares, if available, of course. In addition, if Nmap is not able to get shares from any host, it will report first commonly used share names to check if they are accessible. Also, there is enum users as user suggested. As of course, that name is obvious. It is enumeration all users on a remote operation system using 2 different techniques. First, the LSA brute forcing, and the second one is SAMR enumeration. So you can search on it for yourself if you're interested about it. I'm not gonna cover it because we cannot actually perform penetration testing on an active user or an active target. It's ethical hacking. Unfortunately, we can do that. So, of course, there's other commands, but we're gonna just cover some of them. But first, let's see what commands are available in the Nmap NSE database. And then we're gonna cover 1 or 2 of the scripts. So this is the script that we may want to work on it. But let's first see the SMB database on the Nmap NSE. So let's go to our lab. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to CD and using to change our directory. Sure, Nmap, as I said, this is the path that's usually Nmap scripts are available in it, so you can easily have an access to it. So we are in it. I'm going to use ls using grep to find out all the SMB scripts. As you can see, wow, so it's kind of the number I said, 35 maybe. The scripts here, you can see the security mode, service stats, system info, also some CVE from 2017. Also, we have enum enumeration, groups, process services, sessions, and lots of NSE, right? Okay. So I'm gonna clear the screen and back to our main directory. So for example, as I said, if you want to use another script for our test and then go to our main command, I'm going to use this one, discovery, let's say -p. I'm going to use a port 4445, yeah. I'm going to use this one and the targets. So we're going to wait for the result. It's going to take a while, of course. So host is down, so it's probably it's not active host. So let's test another command, and let's do our back to our PowerPoint, and let's see what command do we use. So this is the command that we choose to perform for you, SMB enumeration users .nse on the specific port that we want and target, and we're going to click enter. And here's the results. It was fast. The DNS record and the port status is filtered, of course, but the service is Microsoft-DS. That's try to have a user enumeration on it. But we know it's a main server plus.pro. So let's get back to our PowerPoint. Well, let's have a review and a summary on a video. We have a quick brief and then providing comment talking about it, what is useful and what we're going to do about it. And then we execute a comment in the terminal and show the result and how it's going to work and talking about SME and the vulnerabilities and all the possibility that you can perform an attack against SMB servers. The next video, we're going to talk about Nmap MISC, then you're going to find out what is that, enumeration. Good luck. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from Nmap Scripting Engine Part 2 Enumeration Section 4. This is the last video from Section 4, and we're going to talk about more scripts on Nmap. In addition to the interesting port table, Nmap can provide further information on the target, including reverse DNS names, operation system, guesses, device types, and MAC addresses, as you know. A typical Nmap scan is shown in the following slides. The only Nmap arguments used in this example is -A to enable OS and version detection, script scanning, and trace root -T4 for faster execution, and then the host name. Let's try our command in the following slide. Here's the command as explained, and let's test it in our lab. Here we are in our Kali Linux, and here are the command. And hit the enter and wait for the results. Alright then, here's the result of the Nmap. Alright, here's the result and output of the command. As you can see, there's useful information on it. For example, at the first step we have the SSH server and a version of it. And then we have SSH host key. It's very useful for DSS and RSA that's encrypted. And then we have TCP and state and the services and a version of it. Then we know it's Ubuntu, the HTTP server header, and a version, of course. And then more details about the OS. It's a Linux, it's a kernel Linux, and then network distance and the service info. Also, we have more information on the target and trace routes from machine to the targets. Let's have a summary in the video. First, we have a quick brief and provide the comments and talk about it and what does it do, and then we see the output and the useful information that Nmap provides us. The next video we have Nmap Scripting Engine Part 3 Web App Hacking from Section 5 first video. Good luck. Hello and welcome back to another section, Section 5, Nmap Scripting Engine Part 3. It promises the last part of the Nmap Scripting Engine, Web App Hacking. This is the first video of Section 5, so we're going to talk about a little bit of the fundamentals. So we're going to talk about the basic of the HTTP. First, what is HTTP and how it works? Well, HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol and is used for transferring data across the web. It is a critical protocol for web developers to understand, and because of it, the widespread and use of it in transferring data and comments in IoT applications. The first version of the protocol had only one method, namely GET, which would request a page from a server. The response page from the server was always an HTML page. So obviously you saw an HTML page. To give you an idea how simple HTTP protocol started, you may want to take a look at the original specification, which only one page in Wikipedia. There have been several versions of HTTP, starting with the original version was 0.9. The current version is 1.1 and was the last revised in 2014. So let's see how it works exactly. Like most of the internet protocol, HTTP is a comment and response text-based protocol using the client-server communications. So clients send a request to the server, a server responds to the client. The client makes a request and server responds. Okay? So the HTTP protocol is also a stateless protocol, meaning that the server isn't required to store the session information, and each request is independent of the other. What does that mean? That means all the requests organized and at the clients. It means your browser, you're the client. And the server responds at request, and the request, that means comment, and the response are in a readable text. So the requests are independent of each other, and server do not or doesn't need to track the request. Let's talk more about request and response. Request and response message structure are the same in the message body of the HTML. For example, a comment or a request optional headers plus optional body content. For example, a response consists of the status of the code, the optional header, and optional body content. For example, in the previous session, we saw the HTTP enumeration, we talked about the bodies, and we saw exactly of a body of the HTTP enumeration. A simple CRLF, that's mean carriage, return, and line feed combination is used to delimit after parts, and a single blank of the CRLF indicates end of a header. If the request or response contain a message body, then it is indicated in the header. The percent of the message body in the request is signaled by content length and the transfer encoding header field. What about HTTP requests? We saw the general request response format earlier. Now we will cover the request message. So in this mandatory structure is as follows. For example, method plus request path and a protocol version. For example, when you are on the website, you can see the link. We'll talk about the get methods. There's a get and post method that we're going to talk about later. But the get method is as I said, the method, and the following page and the test page, for example, .html is the relative path to the resource, and HTTP/1.1 is a protocol version of you're using. Let's have a summary. First, we talk about HTTP. And what is HTTP exactly? As a request response protocol, HTTP gives the users a way to interact with the web resources, such as HTML files. And for the last step, I'm going to tell you that in the following video, we're going to be talking about the commands for the HTTP and related to HTTP. But also, we worked as a HTTP enumeration in the last section. May you want to take a look again. The next video will be HTTP scripts part 1. Good luck. Welcome back to another video from section 5 and script engine part 3 with app hackings. So this is the second video from section 5, and in this video we're going to talk about and have an overview into the HTTP scripts. As you know, there's a variety of scripts in the Nmap engine, so we're just going to take a look at some of them and explain about them. Refer to the last videos and previous videos. You can find all the HTTP scripts in the Nmap scripts. But let's go and have some review on them. So what is our commands? Let's go to our Kali Linux. So here we are at a Kali Linux. The first script is nmap -/ script and the HTTP backup finder. What does it do exactly? Here, a quick brief on it. Spider a website and attempt to identify the backup copy of discovered files. It does so by requesting a number of the different combinations of the file name. For example, index.back or index.html. And our second command, we have nmap-p and standard for the port and the specific port for the target, and -- script, Mongo database, and the host. So this script attempts to get a list of the tables from MongoDB database. The third one is nmap - script HTTP config backup. So obviously check for the backups of files of common content management system and web server configuration files. The next one is nmap - script HTTP proxy brute -p, that is stand for the port and the target. So what does it do exactly? Perform a brute first password guessing against HTTP proxy servers. The next one is, we talked about it in the previous videos, so this might be an overview for you about the scripts. This script used the onPWDB and brute libraries to perform password guessing. Any successful guesses are stored in Nmap registry using the creds library for other script to use. So let's talk about again nmap - script HTTP-brute and standard for the port 18. The next port and the next command is nmap - script and HTTP RFI spider and the standard for the port. Crawls web servers in a search of RFI that remove file inclusion vulnerabilities, as is one of the OWASP top 10 if you are interested about it. It tests every from field it finds and every parameter of the URL containing a query. The next one is test for access with a default credential used by a variety of web application and devices. So where's the command nmap - p80 for the port and - script HTTP default accounts and host or IP. So it works similar to the HTTP enumeration that we talked about in previous videos, which is the application by matching noun, paths, and launching a login routine using a default credential when found. This script depends on the fingerprint files contain the target's information, for example, names, categories, location paths, a default credential, and login routine. And the last command is upload a local file to remove the web server using the HTTP put method. You must specify the file name and URL path with NSE arguments. So if we take attention closely to this one, nmap-p and the port, and the IP and dash script, HTTP put and dash script, and we're setting the arguments and http-put.url, and we uploading the readme.php and http-put.file and attempt readme.php. So far from here, we talk about a lot about Nmap script engine and all the scripts, so we have an overview to make sure you remember all of them. Our next video actually going to be interesting. We're going to writing an NSA script and have an introduction to how to write NSA script by yourself, and customize it as may you wish. Good luck. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from section 5, Nmap scripting engine part 3. This is the last video of the section 5, and actually we're having an interesting topic called the writing an NS scripts. So, in this video, we are going to customize our language and the script that we want to work with in Nmap. So, if you want to be a professional ethical hacker, if you want to be a professional penetration tester, you might want to have your own script and stop using other scripts from other people or default scripts. So when you become a professional, when you have your own stuff, so we're gonna introduce you and tell you what is the first step. Begin an interview for being a professional word. So what language are we going to use? The Lua is the language of the Nmap scripting engine. So all the NSE script that you maybe saw in the NSE or Nmap script directory in the Linux are written by Lua programming languages. So what is Lua exactly? Lua is a very flexible and supporting potential and functional and object-oriented programming. Lua is meant to be portable, so it can easily embed into the other applications such as C API, and it can run easily and nearly on all the platforms, so including Unix, Windows, and mobile devices and embedded microprocessors such as R. So Lua has been used in many popular applications. But let's go over basics to you make feel free about it, you feel comfortable about it. I'm trying to find out what is exactly we don't want to make it very comfortable for you because this is not a programming course. We want to introduce the Lua, see how the functions works, see how to run a little bits and easily a script for the first time. And proud of yourselves for sure. So first we're gonna see the functions, how it works, and then we're going to run an example and our customized tools in our Kali Linux and then run it on a Kali Linux too and see how it's working or not. So before everything, I want to introduce documentation of the NSA documentations in the Nmap website that have everything that you need to know about NSE documents. You have a good knowledge and good information about how to write your own script if you want to get help on it and try to all the documentation tags to be professional or write the more complicated tools for yourself. Another website that I want to introduce you, this is the riplets.com and a language Lua. You can choose a language from here and it's going to run your code online without needing to have it on your web, computer or whatever. You can do it in your mobile too. So this is the first code of our Lua programming. So as you can see here, I wrote a little bit easy code for you. I'm going to explain it. So what we're doing here, we're doing a function and we're providing a function as an A and B. If you look at here, in the end of the code, we ask the user with io.read to enter a number. As you can see here, print enter two numbers. So first, we're going to ask a user to first enter the first number that's called A, as you can see here, function A, and then into the B, and we again ask him to enter a second number and the number B. And then when we talk about print sort AB, we come back to the loop here. So we can see we told the program to, if the number A was bigger than the number B, then return to the A, or else return to the B. Trying to find out which number was bigger than the other. Let's run the application to understand. You can run the application by the bottom here, run. We're going to click run, and it asks us to enter two numbers. As you can see here, we ask to print two numbers and show this sentence to the user. We're going to enter number 7, and then it asks us the second number. We're going to enter number 9. As you can see, it's going to respond us with a bigger number, that is 9. Let's try it again. Another number, 8. And the second number is going to be 2. It's going to reply us to the 8 is bigger than 2. So this is how functions work. It's easy and sure to understand better after Lua language programming. So let's go to our Kali Linux. So here we are in our Kali Linux. As always, we're going to this directory, user share, and nmap, and scripts to make sure we're writing our script in the directory of the scripts and database of the NSE scripts. So before everything, we need to know more about the Lua. So let's open our test code to make sure what we're going to do here. I'm going to use a nano editor, call it our script. .nsa. Alright, here we are with our sample code that is customized. So let's go with some basics to again go deeper into the language. Comment to begin with a double hyphen or double dash and round end of the line. For example, like this one, dash dash or double hyphen and head. So in a traditional learning programming language we saw in the last page, the last slide to working on functions, and also the global variables do not need to be declared, and unlike some languages there is no error to accessing the variable that is not initialized. So instead this value nil or nil will be returned to the local variable. On the other hands are assigned to using local keywords. So you saw that they're using a loop in the last step. So we know how the functions work here now. For demonstrating our purpose, we will compile a simple script that determines if the given port is open and output a relevant message. Let's begin with the head. For now, we can put in a short description and leave it that. For example, here is simple script example that determines the port begin or open. So next, we can move on to the rules section. Let's define a port rule that to determine whatever any given the port on open or not. We set a rule for it, and a port rule and a function. We call it Hasan port, and we said return to the port.protocol for the TCP, and a port.state is open or not, and end the loop. Now we can define the actual script logic in the action section. Let's have a script displaying a message for any given port that is open. For example, if it's come back as a true or open, we call it action the function Hasan port and return this port is open, and the end. So let's run our script. We're going to close it with a dash. Control X. I'm going to use this script nmap -p18 two ports that we set in the for the target, and we want to test it in our script. And using dash as a script, our script, so we nmap should know that what we call it. We don't need to put a .nsc at the end of it, and our website of the targets. And we're going to wait for the result. Okay, let's try it again. Alright, here we are. So as you can see, this is exactly how we wrote it. To say this port is open. This port is open. Two port that we're looking for. That's great, right? Customize your results as you wish. So let's get back to our PowerPoint. So we write our script in a Kali Linux. Also, we test it in our lab too. Let's have a video summary. First, we have an overview, the Lua programming language and how we can write it. We write our code and explain it, and then we execute it in the command line. Our next video is going to be Nmap Metasploit integration. It's going to be the first video of the section 6. Good luck. Hello there everyone, welcome to new section of this course. This section called Integrating Nmap section 6. In the first video of the section 6, we're going to talk about Nmap Metasploit integration. So let's see, does Metasploit use Nmap, or how to connect Nmap to the database in Metasploit? Or what is Metasploit exactly? So, Metasploit framework is a penetration testing tool that can exploit and validate vulnerabilities. It's kind of like a tool like Nmap that we use in Kali Linux, but it's a whole different story. But we're going to just point at it. We're not going to talk about it a lot because it's a whole another course. But we're going to take a point at it, try to talk about it, and show you to how you can connect to the database in the Metasploit for Nmap. So it also contains the basic structures and specific content and tools which are necessary for penetration testing and RAS security assessments in our job. It is one of the most famous exploiting frameworks, and it is updated regularly. You can just update it every time. You can. There's a website of it too, so you can check the versions and new release. So new exploits are updated as soon as they are published on their website or in tool. It has many tools that are used for creative security workspaces or vulnerabilities testing or penetration testing systems in a network or wireless. The Metasploit framework can be accessed in Kali Linux, same as Nmap, and well as you can launch it directly from the terminal. But let's see a comment. Here's a comment, but before that, before explaining that, let's see how we can run the Metasploit and how we can put ourselves to the MSF console. As always, here we are in our Kali Linux. The first command is MSF console -h, which stands for help. You can see all the possible switches for MSF console or Metasploit by this option. Alright, here are all the results and all the console options that you can use it. Plugin and plugins, quiet resources, history file, and the database options that we're going to talk about it. And also the frameworks and modules and command options. And also searched here if you don't want to use it from the terminal. Metasploit framework, but click on it. Metasploit will be start to using for you, and you can just easily type it here and be professional and just run from your terminal. I'm gonna wait a few seconds. As you can see, it's running and it's starting the Metasploit framework console. Alright, here we are. Metasploit Park System Security Interface version. You can always check the version. If there is a new version, you can update it. I don't know what is the new version right now that you are watching in this video. So also, here's some cool interface. We don't access main security rate, access permission denied, blah blah blah. So it's a kind of fun interface. You can enjoy it. So you can see the details about the version and exploits that are available in your database. As it's mentioned here, we can update it on many platforms using this command. So let's back and see our command again. As you see in our Kali Linux, in the command line we can see MSF. Then we can type a command after that. By typing in db and nmap-v-s capital V and target IP, you can connect the database and start scanning. From IBM to Google, Nmap is used by individuals and organizations across the globe. Metasploit is also widely used by companies worldwide, notable TriNet, Porter Airlines, and Blackline, to name a few. Also, we have a quick brief providing new comment that how to connect the database. The DB stands for database for sure, and dash S_V stands for services version detection. At the end, we can execute command in our lab, and how the Nmap analyzes the results. The next video will be Nmap Faraday integration. Good luck. Hello everyone, welcome to another video from section 6. This is the second video from section 6 and we're going to talk about Nmap Faraday. So let's see what is it exactly and what does it work exactly? What is the job of it? So as we know, these days developers have to deal with lots of languages that they don't know for sure. Python, PHP, JavaScript, Java, C#, Ruby. There's lots of undocumented APIs for sure. And this leads us to the fact that many product teams decide not to open our possibility to integrate them. In the Faraday's case, we are aware that integration with other security tools are a critical part of a product. However, we realized that our existing plugins and systems wasn't as easy as we expected to develop some integration. It requires some level of an interactivity, either running a command from a console or importing a report, so it was hard to use and product basis. It also forced integration developers to use our Python API, even when there's a tool to integrate with it wasn't programmed in Python, making it harder for developer for sure. So how we should solve this problem? To solve this problem, we decided to implement the agent feature in the already released Faraday version 3.9. Since we expect it to be a core feature of our product and it will be available both in community and commercial version. So let's install it on our Kali Linux. So here we are on Kali Linux and we're going to go through the step-by-step of installing this. First of all, if you do not have your Python 3 on Linux, you need to install Python 3 on your Linux machine. First we need to install Python 3 on Linux, since Python is the main package Faraday depends on. Let's go ahead to install it in case you don't have it. The following step, if you have Ubuntu, you can install it Python 3 with the following command: sudo apt-get update, and then sudo apt-get install Python 3.6 Python 3-pipe-y. If you're using another version of Ubuntu, if you're on an operating system, you can easily install Python in your system or further versions with the following commands. Then we need to, in step 2, we need to install a PostgreSQL database server. Before we proceed to installing Faraday, let us make sure that PostgreSQL database are installed. You can install PostgreSQL quickly using the first we need to set up the PostgreSQL 13 on Ubuntu and install PostgreSQL 12 on Debian, or how to install PostgreSQL 12 on Ubuntu. So you can use any Linux system or Debian system you have. It doesn't matter. We're using an example here. After the installation is complete, verify the PostgreSQL version is higher or equal than 9.6 by running sudo su-postgres. The next command is psql-c, select your version and Postgres. And this is going to be Postgres version and configure PostgreSQL. Then to open the config file, remember to specify the right Postgres version by using sudo vim, we can use nano2 and the path of the config. And if you cannot find the config file in the path above, simply locate it as follows. Sudo find /-name the config file name. Once you have opened a file, you need to edit the following links. So authenticating type is set from ident to MD5, as you can see here in the IP over local connection, lost all, and from local to the MD5. In step 3, we need to getting the Faraday installation on the Debian Linux Kali CentOS on every Unix system or Debian system we have. Everything should now be ready for Faraday, and we shall not hesitate about downloading and getting this up. Good news is that Faraday developers have provided the Debian package for easy installing through all of the system. First of all, we need to update our system, then we install widget-y, and then, if we don't have it, of course, and then we're using ablegit and the following link from our GitHub, and go to your download directory and run the following command to set it up. Sudo dpackage-i Faraday-server and the name of the package. If the above command finished successfully, we have to initialize the database with the following command. Sudo Faraday manage initial database. Once the command completes, it will give you a randomly generated password to get into the web UI as shown. Faraday username and password configuration ready to be pursued remotely. By default, Faraday listens to localhost. With that configuration, you cannot be able to access your application. In case your server is located in a remote location, to change that, open port 5985 and bind address, this part, and all the secret keys and agent token. And our application should be ready and can be started by running sudo system mctl start Faraday server, and this check its status as follows. From this command, you can see the output here, and this is going to be your output exactly like this. In case you have a firewall running, I'll put 5985 on your firewall if it's running. From this command, sudo ufw and the specific port on the TCP port. Now open your browser and open it to the IP address and a specific port and log in with the Faraday and username and the password initiating an initial this step. Faraday login page and install Faraday plugins. We need to plug in such as Nmap that we're talking about in this course and the rest of the server to be able to scan clients. Fetch Faraday plugins follows like this. Sudo pip3 install Faraday plugins, and step 3 is getting the Faraday installed on your system if you have CentOS 7 or CentOS 8. Just like in a Debian or a Kali Linux or Ubuntu, before we proceed to installing Faraday, let us make sure Python or Postgres is installed. So this is a very important thing, and don't forget it, please. So it's exactly like the same as before that we have it in the Kali Linux. After configuration, let's start the Faraday server with this command. Now open your browser and again type it, the exact command and exact link that we talk about it. When you install the plugins on Ubuntu, you can copy a Faraday plugin to the directory to the path, such as like this. And then you can list all the plugins, and you can see all the plugins that you have in Faraday. It's quite nice to work with, right? As far as we have installed the server part of the Faraday, it follows the server client's architecture, and it's recommended not to mix the server and the client in the same machine. So if you do want to mix all the things together, I really suggest that if you need to work with Faraday, use another machine, a separate machine for that. For example, like the following command, install the clients, and install the Faraday clients on your client machine, and install the Faraday server on your server machine. First, we introduce the Faraday, and we have a quick brief on the command install Faraday, and we can how to install it, how to configure it, and we told you about the server and clients in the Faraday. In the next video, we're gonna be Nmap output types. Good luck. Hello people, welcome back to another video from section 6. In this recording, we are going to talk about Nmap output types. This video will help you during your penetration testing and giving the results and making the results and reports for the company you work for. We are going to pay attention to 3 topics and talk about them. First, what is output in Nmap? And the second one is, which of the following output format is supported by Nmap? And at the end, what are the 5 different output formats available in Nmap? Let's go to our lab and then talk about it. But before that, let's see the next slide. Nmap-O, capital N, and the path for our result output and the targets. Let's go to our lab for more explanation. By default, Nmap displays results as scanned to the terminal. but it's often preferable to save the result to a file for later inspection. This is particularly useful when scanning a large network, as the scan output can span tens of the pages. Some tools even take Nmap scan file as input, which is yet another reason to save the scan result to a file. Nmap can restore the result to its scan in 4 different formats. So we're going to pay attention to these formats. This is the same format as what is displayed. This one, nmap-o capital N, and the file path and the target. The exact command that we show you in the slides. The only difference is that the command line and option are printed at the top of the file as a reminder of what the scan was configured to do, and some runtime warning are monitored. The second one is grep table nmap output. This format presents a result with the 1 host per line in a consistent fashion. What does that mean? It means to be easily pursued with the Unix text tools such as grep, sed, awk, and diff. That is all the basics commands in the Unix and Linux systems. Because of the constants of the nature of these formats, not all the scan output may be preserved this way. Nmap-o capital X and the path name and the target. So different within this one and the last one is the letter after O, the previous one is capital N, and in this one is capital X. The third one is XML Nmap output. This is actually most of the powerful format, as entire scan results represent in a highly structured XML for every and easy parsing by third-party applications. Unlike the graphical format in the previous one or second one, all scan output is presented in these files. The difference is after -o, we're going to use capital G and the path name and the target. The script-kiddie Nmap output, I really suggest don't use that. It's for the newbies and the people who are just starting using that. If you want to be professional, use the third one or second one or the first one that I introduced to you. But we're going to talk about it. This one is presented solely as a joke, and it's simply the normal output passed through a text mangling filter. It's exactly nmap-o capital S and path name and the target. These various output formats can be selected with a -o type file name option. The type is N, G, X, or S for newbies. An additional option is -o capital A base name. It's supported to simultaneously write the scan output in the normal way, and also the XML format and GitHub. With this option, the files are named basename.nmap, basename.nmap, and basename.xml or the target.xml. Multiple output formats can be specified using a -o flag as well. For example, to write the output of a scan in a normal and XML format simultaneously, you would like to type nmap-o capital N this time and a normal output -o capital X and XML output target column or maybe your IP addresses or the path name. So let's test one of these to see how it's exactly works. So we test one of the commands here, and here's the output, and here's the file that made here. So let's see. Here we go. Our result just jump into the TXT file with an explanation that automated by Nmap. Welcome to the first video of the Section 7 Exploring Graphical Nmap Tools. This video is the first video of the Section 7, and we're going to talk about ZenMap, and we are going to explain to you what is ZenMap exactly. So what is ZenMap and what is it used for? Is ZenMap better than Nmap? We're going to answer all those questions, but before that, let's have a basic introduction to ZenMap. ZenMap is a graphical environment for Nmap. It's actually doing the same way with the same engines that Nmap have. So you can have no idea that how Nmap is bigger, or you have no idea, or you're a beginner to first using of Nmap, so you can use ZenMap for yourself. You can use it in Windows as well too. ZenMap is a graphical way that making the job easy for you. If you're a fan of graphical things and you're not a fan of the core and terminal-based or code-based environment, ZenMap is a better choice for you. So how we're going to use it and how we're going to download it from the Nmap main page. Let's see and go through step by step together from downloading, installing, and working with ZenMap. So here we are in the Nmap main website to download the ZenMap. As you can see here. So based on Nmap introduction, ZenMap is the official Nmap Security Engineer GUI that stands for Graphical User Interface. It's a multi-platform for Linux, Windows, Mac OS, and etc. Wow, so you can use it in all platforms you want. Free and open source application which make easy for beginners to use while providing advanced features for experiencing Nmap users. So as I said, it has all the Nmap's options in the ZenMap too. So you can also save the scans in the profile to make them easy to if you want to run them again. A comment creator allows an interactive creation of Nmap comment lines. The scan result can be saved with add wheel later. Saved scan result can be compared with one another to see how they differ. The result of the recent scans are stored in a searchable database. So we can download ZenMap from here. We're going to scroll down and see all the pages here. It's okay. I'm going to click on download page. And scroll all the things here. Here's the Nmap downloading page. Click back. Alright. We're going to click on download. I'm going to scroll down again. And we choose our operation system. For example, if you want for Linux, for Mac OS, or for Microsoft Windows. So we worked with Linux too much. Maybe we want to change our appetite. We're going to use it. Nmap setup.exe or exe for Windows binaries. We're going to download it. Now waiting for downloading. And click on install and wait to open. Click on yes. You can see all the agreements here. You can click on agree. And I'm going to check all the things here. I'm going to next. You can choose a path for it. I'm going to click install and wait for the installation to complete. I click on agree. It's better to do this one, structure Nmap npcap drivers access to administration only. I'm going to click install and check this one. So I'm going to click install and wait for to install complete. You can show the details to make sure what is happening in your system. Do it always for any program you install. A program with hardware systems or install something that you don't want. So you can see it in the show details in any program you're installing to make sure everything's alright and everything that happened is on your base and your will. So we're going to wait for install to complete. The install is finished and we're going to click next and finish. We're going to redirect us to another page for npcap. It's a packet capture library for Windows that it's used for in the ZenMap. We're going to click next, next, and finish. And we're going to wait for ZenMap to open itself automatically. Alright, here's the environment of a ZenMap. As you can see here, we can use our target here. For example, scanme.zenmap.org. And you can see in the profile here, just making customers for yourself, a regular scan. And a comment, and modify your comment here also. It's like what you want exactly, what you want from me, what you want me to do for you. Exactly. So we can use all the comments that we want here. And also there's also services and hosts. So the result will come out here, the ports and the scans. So just gonna run a regular scan here. Let's see. Click yes, I'm waiting for the result. As you can see, it's scanning here. As you can see here, we have the results, same as the terminal, but it's a graphical, it has more customized, and it's a categorized, so make you good feel. But I really suggest that you use the terminal function because it's more advanced, more professional, and give you more flexibility. Using a GUI of Nmap is good, but for beginners. So, video summary. First, we talk about Nmap. What is that? What is it doing? Is it better than Nmap? So we tell that Nmap is the Nmap scanner in a GUI way. We download it, we install it, and we run a simple comment on it. The next video will be Armitage, and it will be second video from section 7. Good luck. Here we are with another video from this interesting section 7, exploring graphical and map tools. As you know, we are exploring and introduce you all the graphical and important graphical tools that may do or are doing the Nmap jobs and make the job easy for you. So in this video, we're going to talk about a very interesting tools called Armitage. This is the second video from section. As always, let's see what we're talking about. What is Armitage? Armitage is a fantastic Java-based GUI front-based for the Metasploit framework developer and developed by Rafal Mach. Thanks to him, it is a goal to help security professionals better understand hacking and help them to realize the power and potential of the Metasploit. So far from here, we know the Armitage is exactly doing for Metasploit, trying to make the job easy for us, for the beginners, and also for the professionals. For the information about this excellent project and how it's made and all the things about creators, you can find it on Offensive Security and Armitage's official website. If you want to talk about what is the difference between Armitage and Metasploit, Armitage, as we know, Metasploit is a terminal-based and command-based environment that you can make exploits and create exploits, get access. And Armitage in this step trying to provide a GUI-based configuration for you to understand better, to understand all the possibilities, all the configs, all the exploits, and try to find the best potential that is right and fit for you. So let's go to our lab and doing step by step together to find out how this is interesting tools are going to work out for us. So here we are in our Kali Linux, our favorite operation system for penetration testing. If you completely install the Kali Linux with all the tools, you can find Armitage here by just searching it. Oops. Alright, Armitage, as you can see here, just searching it with both. And if you don't want to search it and you want to work with your terminal, or if you have installed a core version of the Kali Linux, you can just type Armitage in your Kali Linux, it's going to be open. You're going to click on Armitage here and wait for it till open. After you're clicking on it or typing it and hit enter, you're going to see a pop-up window here. It asks you to host, port, and user and pass. Let it be here like this. If you have a specific configuration for your connections, go for it. But if it's your first time to using it, leave it that be. We're going to hit enter and connect and click yes and wait for the Armitage to bring it up. You're going to see your progress. That's to find himself, do the progress, and complete the installation and the configuration for the first time if you're using it. If not, you're going to do it all the time for this progress. So take your time. So Armitage is now up. It's going to take you 10 seconds to get up after the process. So as you can see here, on the left hand that we have a payload post exploits, and down here we have the command line. On the left side and the right side, we have some graphical tools that we're going to pay attention to it and explain how it's work. It's the wallets, explore the tabs here, we have the Armitage. It's called New Connection, Preference, Start. Set a target view, graph view, set exploit rank, set proxy, listener scripts, and a view tab. We have console, credential, download, job list, console, and reporting. Works for your pen testing if you reporting to the company, to your boss, senior. And here we have Nmap scan. Wow, okay, that's related to our target. Intention scan and the UDP in all the TCP ports. Ping scan, quick scan. So we're gonna talk about it again. MSF scan and DNS enumeration. Attack, Hail Mary and find attack, workplaces, manage show all, and help. So to select the scan we wish to run with Armitage, we expand the module tree and double-click on the scanner we wish to use. In this case, for example, we click on exploit. As you can see here, we have all the modules here. Wow, that's really organized. So it's going to be really helpful for you. For example, our target is a Windows. I click on Window. We try to find out the specific things that we want. For example, we have proxy, MySQL, LPD, SMB, or SMB. That's very useful when you have a Windows target. Or, for example, we have HTTP here too. For example, if you have a application, web server application that use Apache, you can use all the Apache modules here you have. For example, we're going to click on one of them. Well, you have LHOST here, and you have LPort here. So you may wonder, what is LHOST and LPort? If you don't know, it's exactly reported in regard to the Metasploit titles. We're not going to talk about it very much, but I'm just going to go for overview. We're going to run an ifconfig. As you can see here, this is our IP address, and this is what exactly talk about LHOST. So LHOST and LPort is talking about our system. When you talk about LHOST and ask you to configure the LHOST IP address, you're going to share your IP address because it's going to give the value back to your system and on a specific port. And our host is a target for the IP addresses that you want to, attack to it or test it. So we can use a reverse connection, and that's not going to work for us. I'm going to turn the targets into launch. Let's see the other things that we talk about. For example, when we talk about host, the Nmap scan, and we want intense scan. Let's see how it works. Enter scan range. For example, the IP address and Jennifer is gonna do the same IP address here. An example first. Let's see where's the results exactly. We click OK. As you can see, start working. Wow, he just do all the configuration and comment for us. So it's really helpful, right? It's gonna really save your time, save your energy, and it's have a good environment actually. You can use it as a professional, you can use it for your daily scanning. You really have good output here, right? So we wait till scan is finished. The thing is, I'm using a private network, so I may want to run it on our private network. So do it again. And it is actually this. Okay, I'm just going to run it again. As you can see here. Alright. Waiting for the results. Wow, okay. You can see what hosts are down and what hosts are up actually. Too many hosts are down, and discover open ports on these targets. Wow. Save our time and our energy, right? These are really good tools that you can really use it, and I really suggest and encourage you to use it, and it's covered all the exploits. And if you interested in Metasploit, also you can use it as well. It has a good environment, it has a good directory and database for all the operation systems, all the targets, and exploit and payloads. So I encourage you to, keep your hand dirty on it and play it with it exactly as I do here. then discover all the tags. For example, let's run another map attack and see how it's going in that way. For example, I'm going to do insist attack with all TCP ports. Exactly again to my private network, and then hit enter and OK. I'm going to wait again, and you can see it just customized the comment for us. Well, we had a good result here, and a fast result actually. Armitage made our job easy as a cake. Am I right? Let's have a video summary. First, we introduce you the Armitage and difference between the tools and how it works. We provide the comment and show you how it works, further installations and exploring the titles and the comments and how the database is going to work for us. We actually execute one comment or two comments in our terminal, actually the Armitage terminal, to see how it works, and actually we have a good results and the satisfaction results that make us happy. The next video is going to be Sparta. Good luck and see you. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this recording we're going to talk about exploring graphical map tools in section 7. This is the last video of the section 7, Sparta. So same as always, let's have an overview on our topic. What is Sparta exactly? The Sparta is a Python GUI or graphical user interface application which simplifies network infrastructure penetration testing by aiding the penetration testers in the scanning and enumeration phase. And also it allows the tester to save time by having the point and click access to his toolkit and by displaying all the tools output in a convenient way. The same as Armitage in the last video, and we see how it saves your time and energy, and it is a very customized and clean and clear application, could be very helpful for you during your process as a professional or as a beginner. If a little time is spent setting up the comments and tools, more times can be spent focusing on analyzing results. Of course, if you spend your all the energy and times to resolve the comments and issuing with a terminal, for sure it's for the professional ways, but also the GUI comes up. Also, when it's come to Sparta or Armitage, actually, this could be a real professional and save your time. And believe me, you have a resulting and reporting tools that could be very satisfy your supervisor. Despite automation capabilities, the comments and tools are very useful and fully customizable as each tester has its own methods, habits, and preferences. Well, this is all the comments you need to install it and run it. So let's go by step. First, we need to update and install all the requirements for the Sparta from the Python. apt-get update and apt-get install Sparta Python requests. That's going to install all the libraries that you need. And then in the next two comments, so the apt install Python 3 SQL and Python 3 PyQt5, it's going to install and organize your library, and then it's going to be apt-finger in a RSH client X11, and then we can go to the user share by cd and share path in directory, and then git clone or git Sparta from the GitHub. So you can just comments, place the Sparta file in user bin and make it executable and give it permission with chmod that we talked about in previous videos. Type Sparta in terminal to launch the application, or if you don't do it and you don't put it in the share and user bin, you can go to the desktop Sparta links master is going to be named like this, and then using the Python Sparta.py and run it. To enjoy all the specific and enjoyable tools and environment that exactly like the Armitage in the previous video to reach your potential and goal in penetration testing. Let's have a review. Sparta is GUI network infrastructure penetration testing tool authored by Salesforce and available within Kali Linux. Sparta is a Python-based GUI application, so we know it's based on Python. It is a network infrastructure penetration testing tool which helps the penetration testers in performing scanning and enumeration phase. So beware of that. If you do not install Python in your Kali Linux, you cannot run Sparta. The next video will be on first video after section 8 NSC Advanced tab. Good luck. Hello everyone and welcome to Section 8 NSE Advanced Step. As that obvious, this is the first video of the Section 8 and we're gonna have an overview on working with the Brute NSE library. So if you remember, we talk about NSE libraries a lot. If you do not remember it, you may want to take a look at it, practice again, because it's one of the most powerful and healthy things that can come to help you in your process. We talk about all the brutes and some of the brutes, commands that we execute them, for example, HTTP brutes, SMP brutes, and some of them, and we showed example in the Kali Linux and we run the commands. In this video, as always, we're going to talk about smb-brute.nsd. If you're interested in SMB vulnerabilities, you might take a look at the vulnerability that SMB may cause. SMB is one of the most things that you can attack with the Nmap. It's going to be most workful for you and sometimes going to be really helpful for you. Let's test the command as an example and for test, of course, SMB servers for now. Well, here we are again in our favorite operating system Kali Linux. So nmap -s capital U -s capital S and -s script and our NSE script smb-brute.nsa and the target that we're going to use it nmap usual target scanme.nmap.org. We're going to see that the result here on the server states, but usually we can set a port for it actually -p and SMB port, and it's going to be attacked to the SMB server it's have available. So we know scanme.nmap.org is a sample website for the nmap. And actually, we're not gonna get a SMB brute force on it, but we can see some servers and states that are open. Well, as you know, this video was a summary and kind of overview to remind you how NSE works. In the previous sections, we talk about NSE a lot, and we're gonna talk about it more. Provide a comment for an example to an overview and remind you how it works, and we execute the command in the command line in a terminal. Well, in the next video, we're actually gonna have another video, same as all before. We have NSE sections, writing an NSE script, but this time we're gonna do a little more advanced things. Now we know how the law works, how the NSE works, how we can write a simple NSE. We're gonna have some more advanced feature and add it to it to make sure you're being good at it. Good luck. Hello and welcome back to another video from Section 8 NSE Advanced Step from this course. Well, in this video, actually gonna talking about a little bit more specific things in IT field, information technology field, and codings. And also, we're going to pay attention to what is debugging, what is troubleshooting, because it's really important if you're doing any field in information technology. If you're a programmer, if you're a security engineer, if you're a network engineer, no matter, it's always going to come to you and it's going to help you or bother you. So let's have an overview from the concepts exactly and what is it exactly. So we're going to pay attention to three subjects. First, what is the steps in the debugging process and what is the best debugging techniques? And how do I debug? Well, a software application these days need to be error-free before going out in the market. For sure, if you want to release them, tools or application, it should have any error in it. It should be completely without any error and errorless, to run completely without any glitch or something like that. So customer satisfaction is one most important things in the market and organizations, or your supervisor satisfaction. And only a bug-free product can keep your customer or your supervisor happy. In this video, I'm going to talk about a little bit debugging and how it's different from software testing. Imagine that the difference between you or a software developer is that when you developing a tool for your company, for example, so your supervisor specifically asks you, or your freelancer and customer specifically asks you to run or create NST tools or a tool related to the Nmap in Python. So, coordinated debugging. It refers to identifying, analyzing, and removing errors. This process begins after a software fails to execute properly and conclude by solving the problem and successfully testing the software. But it is considered to be an extremely complex and tedious task because errors need to be resolved at all the stages of debugging to make sure that you don't have any problem at getting output at the end. So why do we need debugging exactly? The process of debugging begins as soon as the code of the software is written. Then it's continued to successfully stage as its code as combined with other units of programming or performing a task to form a software product. Debugging has many benefits such as it reports an error condition immediately, it allows the early detection of an error and make the process and software developers stressful and less stressful. They also provide maximum useful information of data structure and always allows easy interpretation. Debugging assists the developers in reducing useless and distracting information. Also, through debugging, developing can avoid complex one-use testing code to save time and also energy in software development. So what is the steps? The different steps involved in the process of debugging are in the following slide. First of all is identify the error to find out what is our problem exactly, which line exactly. Then find error location. At the third level is analyzing the error. Why is it happening and why we did it wrong? And then prove the analysis and then cover the relative damage. And at the end of the line, we're going to fix it and make sure it works correctly. So the first step, we have a bad identification of an error can lead to wasted development time. It is usually that production error reported by user and hard to introduce something that information we receive is misleading. So it's very important to identify the actual error because it always could be misleading for you. Trust me, if you do not understand the error, you're going to be wasting your time the whole day. At the second level, we have find the error location. As the same as the first one, after identifying the error correctly, you need to go through the code and to find the exact line and the spot that you make that error for yourself. And we need to understand why we did it, analyzing it. In the third step, you need to use bottom-up approach from the error location, analyze the code. This helps you to understanding error. Analyzing about has two main goals, such as checking around error for other errors to be found and to make sure about the risk of entering in a critical damage. Then we have an proof analysis. Once you're done, analyze the original bug. You need to find a few more errors that may appear. Always when you're fixing bugs, there's going to be more bugs after that. Trust me about it. And then we have the cover lateral damage. In this stage, you need to create a getter of all unit tests for the code where you're going to make a change. In the end of the level, we're going to fix and validate. The final stage is to fix all the errors and run the test script to check it's going to work or not. So it's very important to study the system in order to understand the system. It helps the debugger to contact different representatives of the systems that are debugged. So there's lots of debugging tools in programming and in computer programming to test their debugs for the other programmers. There are lots of public domain softwares like GDB and DBX that you can use for debugging also. They offer console-based, command line, and interface. And again, it depends on you which one are you more comfortable with. As a previous video or section, we saw Zenmap, that was a graphical, and we saw Nmap, that is command line based on you. So there's a list of the debuggers such as Radar 2, Win Debug, or Win WIN DBG, or Valgrind. With this, we can have to find our errors of an article in the web. So I hope you understand what is debugging and different stages involved in this program of debugging. Let's have a summary in our video. First of all, we talk about finding bugs, analyzing and understanding why bugs occur, and fixing or removing bugs. Best debugging techniques is trace-based debugging is traditional and the most common debugging technique used in most debugging tools today. Trace-based debugging is a predicted and concept of the breakpoints. At the end, debug is going through the code flow during the runtime, whereas tracing is giving the details of the execution plan, process time meaning details. The next video should be first video of the section 9 analyzing. Good luck. Welcome to section 9. Hello folks, and welcome back to another section with this interesting course. This course is analyzing, and we're going to talk about analyzing in Nmap. And actually, I believe this section will answer lots of your questions and make lots of things clear for you. So let's head to the target. Well, in this video, in this recording, I'm gonna make something clear for you. So maybe some of you don't understand when you get a result from Nmap and you search the result and some of them are open, closed, filtered. So you might wonder, okay, what is the difference between them? So I'm gonna make these things clear for you to you have a better understanding of the results when you get a result from Nmap when you're doing this counting. So let's go. What's the ported status and how do you check a ported status? And I'm gonna talk about what is the ported status that we have. Several times you might have used Nmap far from here for performing network scanning or application attacks or web server attacks to enumeration active port services of a target machine, but in some scenarios you don't get a simple message if a port open or closed. But let's first talk about the simple things. For example, we have an attacker that is our Kelly, and we have a target that could be a Windows, Ubuntu, or another website. So the status of a port are not their essential properties. So it depicts how Nmap sees them, right? In Nmap, a port is divided into 6 states, exactly 6 states. The first one that we know and we love it is open, so that means port is open. These states mean that an application on the target machine is listening for a connection packet on a port. That's good and we love it and we need it. And the second one is closed. This state and this status means the port have no application listening on them. True, they could open up anytime. So the target may not have an SMB servers or I don't know, another service that you want to attack. So it's been closed. We have another status called filtered. This state means that a firewall, filter, or other network upscale is blocking the port that Nmap cannot tell whether it's open or closed. So when it faced to the filtered status of a port, we see that they not let us to find out is it open or closed. So we get more curious. We do lots of other tricks to find out if it's filtered or not exactly what's happening in the filtering. Is open or closed. The third one is unfiltered. Ports are classified as unfiltered when they are responsive to Nmap props, but Nmap cannot determine whether they are open or closed. The next one, the second one that's may result to the open or filter is that in this indicate that the port was filtered or open, but Nmap couldn't establish a state. So may sometimes face to this status that open/filtered. Well, that's weird. What does that mean that Nmap couldn't establish in the state? The last one is closed/filtered, same as open/filtered. This indicates that port has filtered or closed, but Nmap cannot establish the state. So in the open ports, in the first one that we talked, that we love it, I said, of course you do too. In this case, a service application running on a port is actively accepting TCP or UDP connection. We need to send TCP packets to port 18 of a target, for example, and we find that the port is open. For example, let's go check on in our lab and see how the results coming out for us. Alright, here we are in Cal Linux. I'm just going to head to the Nmap and set up, for example, port 18, that stands for HTTP. And, for example, a website is scanme.nmap.org. That's Nmap provided for us to do our penetration testing services and scenarios. So, as you can see here, we have a port 18 here that stands for TCP, and state is open, and service is HTTP for sure. And other information that Nmap provides us that is not necessary in this video. So when you take a look at the settings that we have here, Nmap sends SYN packets on a port 18. We talked about the TCP SYNs before, so if you remember that. And then Nmap receives a SYN ACK packet as a response from port 18, which denotes the port 18 is open. And then Nmap sends RST packets to us. So we talk about closed ports. Let's talk about closed ports and see what happens when we talk about closed ports and how it's going to show us. So for example, this time I'm going to use it on a IP. Well, this time let's use it on a target in our network on a Windows 10. Okay, there's the IP. Alright, and port 18, same as the last one, and see that is closed. The port, TCP, and the state is closed, and service HTTP MAC address. It's on the VMware. For sure. Well, let's talk about it more. Closed ports. In this case, a service or application on a port is accessible, but no application is running on it. When a port is closed, the state sends RST with ACK packets when it receives TCP SYN packets. Same as this comment. Try to scan port 18 for HTTP on a target, but it's closed. Now we have used scan to send TCP SYN packets on a port 18 of a target machine and found that the target is closed. That is because as soon as we receive the TCP SYN packet, it sends back TCP RST ACK packets. So, for example, if you want to do a traceroute, it was like this. Nmap sends SYN packets on a port 18. Then Nmap receives RST ACK packet as a response from port 18, which denotes a port 18 is closed. So this was the closed one. Let's go with the filtered one. For example, I'm going to go on for this port, and again scan me .nmap.org and wait. As you can see, it's filtered our port, our state, and services. In this case, Nmap is unable to determine whether this port is open because the packet filtering is preventing the packets from reaching the port, or when a packet is dropped, Nmap tries several times just in case the problem has whatever dropped due to the network confusions or rather the filtering by the firewall. Of course, in the biggest scan, in a scan of lots of ports or in a heavy network, and to reduce our time for scanning. So, for example, you can do this time for the IP tables. If you want to use IP table to drive TCP packets on a target machine, this does not include our course, but I'm just a tip. We're going to use IP table. IP table is a firewall for the Linux systems. IP table -i, and we're going to put inputs rule for it, and the -p for the TCP, and the -j to drop it. I'm going to say drop. Okay, that's good. Now when we scan the target machine, the packet will be dropped as soon as it receives the TCP packets. For example, let's try it again. Okay, so when we talk, if you run a Wireshark in your system to analyze the packets for the network administrations, if they know what I'm talking about, when Nmap sent TCP SYN package, we got no reply from target machine. This means that package filtered or firewall dropping our packet, but the result will be the same. So see, other this for scan and others information that we're not going to use it for this video. So you ask, what about unfiltered ports? The unfiltered states mean that a port is accessible, but Nmap is unable to determine whether it's open or closed. Only the ACK scan, which is used to Nmap to the map firewalls, rule sets classify ports into the states. Scanning unfiltered ports with other scan types such as Windows scan, SYN scan, or FIN scan may help resolve whether the port is open. We use IP tables to drop any TCP packets coming to the port 18 in a target machine. For example, I'm going to use the IP tables again, use the -I inputs and -P again for the TCP for sure, and say vdrop and port, that's 15, and -J dash and again drop. Gonna drop it. Now when you use nmap scan to scan a target machine to check if there is any firewall or not. For example, I'm gonna use nmap -S-A-P22 and 18 and our network targets. If I'm doing that right, alright. Okay. As we see in a given below comment, port without firewall shows unfiltered as nmap is unable to determine is open or closed. So also you can open your Wireshark and see the port 22 we got an RSD packet, whereas in case the port 18, the packet is dropped by target machine. So what is open filter ports? In case nmap is unable to determine if a port open or filtered, as I said, this occurs for scan types in which open ports given no response. The lack of response could also mean that the packet filter dropped the probe of any response is dedicated. So nmap does not know for sure whether the port is open or being filtered sometimes, but the UDP IP protocols, FIN, null, and XMS scans that I talked about in previous sections can classify port in this way. So for example, let's run a nmap scan on a XMAS scan to scan target machine. An nmap -S X and a port 18 for sure. And the target. Okay. What might be used on open ports? Okay. It's gonna happen over and over. And for example, sorry, net2/. Okay. As we configure our IP tables and I talk about open and filters and close filters status. So let's have a summary on our video. First, we have a quick brief on what's going on exactly, spinning the comments, running the comments in our terminal, talk about the status that's maybe accurate and face to it. The most of them are open, closed, and filtered, but in case you face any more of them, now you know what's happening and what's exactly going on, but usually you face it to the opens, closed, and filtered ports. That's now you completely understand of the meaning of them. In the next video, we're going to talk about opening a socket in the second video of the section 9. Good luck! Hello everyone, welcome to another video from section 9, analyzing. In this video, I'm going to talk about opening a socket in a Linux machine in the section 9, video 9.2. So we're going to answer 3 questions and more questions. I also work in a lab and show you the comments. But let's have an overview. A socket in a networking servers as a communication endpoints. So it's provide a connection between two entities that wish to communicate with each other or within a network. For example, your Linux and your target, or a Windows in your server or in your network. Sockets are used on a TCP/IP stack transport layer, are used to send and receive the data packets. In this video and in this recording today, we'll explain you today to the different methods of listing down all the open sockets that are listening on the Linux or your machine. So there are several methods that we're going to tell you. 2 of them that usually works and are better than other ones. So for listing all the open sockets in your machine, we can follow 2 methods. The first one is listing all the open sockets listening on a Linux machine with the SSUTLI. So if you want to list down all the ports and all the sockets listening on the Linux or any machine you're using, any OS you're using, that's based on your decision. We are using Kali Linux here, regardless of which internet protocol they're using. So then you can need or execute the commands that I'm going to tell you in the next slide. So let's go to our lab. Well, the first command that I'm going to use, as I said, SS and dash -L. I click enter, and we can see the result here. Very well. Also, you can hear the address and the port, kernel, and all the usages, and receive queue, the process. Here is path. You can see all the information. For example, some of them are listening. Usually they're using it. So, well, I'm going to kill the page and go into the second method that we're going to use. If you want to list down all the open TCP sockets listening on a Linux in your machine, then you need to execute this command I'm going to show you. You use cat or more or less command. So I'm just going to use more cat for now. It's going to be a pros and net and then TCP, for example. All right, here is it. If you want to see it another way, you can also use nano or any editor that you want. Here is it. Also, let's click the page again. This command will show down all the OpenTCP circuits that are listening on Linux. So in the next one, we're going to show you how to see the UDP actually. So it's exactly the same one as this one. Just change the TCP to UDP. Here is it. We can use the cat command as well. Here we are. Here is the result. So in this video, we showed 3 methods that's listing all the down open circuits listening on Linux. So the first method showed all the listening circuits regardless of the internet protocol they are following, and the other 2 on the TCP and UDP protocols. So, but we have another subject to pay attention to it. There's some other comments that you want to know. SS-S, as you can see here, is going to give you a summary of the ports and circuits that are open. We have INET 2 total and 1 IP and 1 IPv6. That's mean IP version 6. So I told you about SSS-L. The sample output should be display all the ports and all the open network ports with the SSS command on Linux. We have another command, SSS-DL. To see process named, we're going to click command. Well, we have the process name here. If you want to organize it, you can use a grep command. But for now, we're just going to pass it. So now let's use it. Okay. So if you want to, who's responsible to opening sockets for example, port 4949 using the SS command, you can see like this one, -LP. I'm going to use a command grep. It's a Linux basic grep command. We talked about it before. All right, we don't have it, so let's another port maybe. Let's we have it, yeah. All right, here is the result. All right, we have another thing. We can use go to the price and for example another. Okay, let's first go to the directory. NLS. Okay, these are the ports that we have. For example, we're going to the 11 LS. Okay, ls-l. So you can get more information about a process like memory, users, and use and current working directory. So you can visit this directory that I go into the path here, as you can see. All right, I'm going to back to main page. So what's happening if you want to, again, see all the TCP sockets without using the more command that I told you before, or a cat, and to see the directories, I'm going to use SS again and -T-A. Here we are. So if you want to display all the UDP sockets, it's going to change it to the U. From T to U, here we are. And here are the operators and the ports, the boot PC. And if you want to display all the Unix sockets, you're going to use this one. Use X. Here we are. Let's have a video summary. First, we have an introduction and a quick brief on sockets and what is it and why we need it, so how we check it all. with actually how it works for your security, for your analyzing. We explained the comments and we saw that comments worked in our terminal. The next video, we're going to talk about implementing the driver class. Good luck.